Okay. Hello everybody and welcome to some more glorious DevClashy goodness in Anbennar. So, where we stand today is a little bit different, I think, to where we left off last week, because there was, I think, to sum it up, a little bit copy, but there have been solutions found and all of that. Basically, there was a bit of a gank that went on last week, and people weren't happy because it seemed very antithetical to the kind of style that the game was supposed to be going in. There was a lot of talk about teams being kind of the culprit, whereas some teams had they were spread out with their members across different continents, like Rekprun and Dahui, and they were being allied with people in Canor, and it was just kind of not all there. I chimed in and said I think that teams are bad, but apparently we're still going with teams. We're still going teams, but that's fine. That's fine. A bunch of nations also got some save edits to bring them back up to a playable state. They kind of got wrecked in that Giga War at the end. So we'll see what the situation is at the end there. We'll go into the game soon and look around, and I think everything's looking reasonable. I don't think there's anything too crazy going on. Nothing too drastic from when we left off, but yeah, it should be fine. I'm also going to be streaming with Findeath. He is also streaming. I should try and find a link to his channel so I can share it with you. And yeah, he is also streaming the Anbennar DevClash, so you'll be able to see his perspective as well. That's my channel. That's the wrong link. Here is the link. There we go. So yeah, I'm going to be co-casting with him, and we will be fine there. Yeah. So just waiting on everyone to get in.
Hello.
Hello there. How are you doing, mate?
I'm doing fine. How's yourself?
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see more DevClashy goodness.
More DevClashy goodness.
I mean,
right, so I see a lot has
changed
changed since the first session.
Yeah, for sure. Still no Phoenix Empire.
Well, I consider that a good thing.
I love the Phoenix Empire, so I don't. But yeah, neither of the two perspective people are kind of close. I think Sariand is closer, but they need to kill a bit of Sayadan. And Bursar Tenches, even if he integrated Erlium, Drolakand, and Gilkalis, there's not enough provinces for him to form it.
Yeah, no. Also needs to. He probably would need to, eat his friend. And Gelkis. Yeah. Gelkis is his friend, right?
Well, yeah. It's his. I think it's his vassal. And when you form the Phoenix Empire, it will automatically integrate
all the vassals.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that doesn't matter then. He could try and vassalize Oddfield Tunger, but I don't think that. I mean, because are those provinces out there applicable? Because they're in Bulwar, right?
They are applicable, but it's a player. I don't think that's gonna really float well.
Yeah, it's not gonna roll. No, they're just gonna fight tooth and nail, and plus they've already got part of Ketreka anyway, so I doubt you can actually vassalize them that easily.
Yeah.
Also the hold.
The Ket area doesn't even count for it either, so you can't even go and take Shasura. Yeah, but it's going to be Sariand. I think there are 79 provinces or something. They need to get to 100. Bit of harpy murder and
79 to 100. Yes, they just murder the harpies and they'll be fine.
Yeah.
Okay, right. And the religion of Jad is still around. So I shouldn't really be so surprised because of the whole harpy religion being syncretic.
I hate
But
it. I hate it so
yeah, I am.
much. The Jad. I don't know.
The
I I
Chad.
am
So
I
you
am
don't think
a
they're Chad?
I'm a new Sun Cult enjoyer.
Ooh. So
I
you
mean,
decided to have the slightly newer, spicy version of the Sun Cult instead of going with the old ways of humans are on the top of the pyramid, not anyone else.
certified elf simp here, so I mean, it is what it is. Also, just the new Sun
Ah,
Cult religion mechanics and the events that pop up is just second to none. It's some of the best writing in the mod, so I can't.
yeah, isolation. Isolation always lends itself well to custom religions that have a lot of story integrated into it.
Yep.
So I can't deny that. It is definitely one up there.
I would
Ah,
love more like that. I think there's a lot of space for more religion based events throughout the mod. I mean, you could even say that like uh the deluge of blood that's going to be happening soon.
mhm.
It, it's sort of a similar vein, right? It's a religious
Yeah.
disaster event in the same vein as the Samartal Masquerade and such is for New Sun Cult.
Mhm.
Um, but
Yeah.
apparently, when the deluge happens, I forget what it's actually called. Um, we
Oh,
should be
wait, are
we
you
should be
talking about
looking at
Spirit Tide and
Corinta.
Halus?
Is that
Oh,
in yet?
right. Oh, that deluge.
Yeah, the
Also,
Crimson Deluge. Yeah, when
the cruise.
when
Yeah.
the skies open and blood rains and everyone's sad. That one. We need to
Yeah,
keep
it's
an eye
that
out for that
one.
one.
That'll be okay. It would be quite nice if that was a bit expanded a bit more. Like it actually had a bit more of a story chain. So, yeah, go for
I'm
that.
always down for more story. Dwarven Pantheon as well. Beppa's saying is it's got some great storytelling in there when you're rediscovering the gods. I was playing a dwarven
Oh, right.
campaign earlier this morning. I was playing as Ovdal Kanzad, just for fun, and maybe testing out some stuff for the future. But
Mm.
I did get the event where you have to choose between three slightly subtly different spellings of
Oh,
the
this is a
dwarven god.
self-insert god,
Yeah,
isn't it?
from
Yeah.
Aureus.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah. Yeah,
uh,
did you know there was an earlier build of that event where it was just literally his name in
Yep. I
there?
remember that one as
It was
well. At least it's slightly different. It's Aureacus now instead of just Aureus. But
no, it is still isn't still a self-insert.
I
Oh, dude.
look, I'm fine with self
Also,
inserts. I think all of the devs should have their self inserts somewhere in the mod. I'm totally sold on
hmm,
that idea. Like, make the first ruler of Anben cost be J Bean. I don't even care. Like that's fine by me. Um, Ho Devar is already in.
Aventos.
Why not?
Yeah.
More. Just do
Um,
more.
Ludlam is a self-insert in the form of a D&D party, as far as I remember.
Oh, that's cool. I like that.
So,
I'm down
yeah.
from all of that. Look,
Uh,
if D&D parties are welcome in here, then help me out and put my D&D character Valmeyer in here somewhere. I beg, anywhere. But
yeah, so
yeah,
what is
no.
your D&D character then? Maybe we can try and get that in
Well,
somewhere.
he is a mix of two races that are not in Anbennar. He is
Oh, yeah.
a drow descended tiefling. So yeah, neither
Well,
drow nor
technically, tieflings
tieflings are
exist in
in.
Avener. Yeah,
Well,
tieflings are in Avener.
yeah, but there's no like
They're just not a
culture.
major race. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay, yeah, fair enough. It's not in a culture thing. But it's
so
like basically the whole story about the Magisterium is that they go hunting for tieflings
that
because they want to experiment on them because, demonic looking beings. Hey, magic, let's investigate that and find out how they do it.
our we're so oppressed, so oppressed.
Yeah.
um,
But yeah, what was the other race again? Like what was it?
drow, dark elves, and
Drow. Oh yeah.
I don't think
Yes.
Ruinborn really count as they're dodgy elves, but they're not
No.
drow.
I joined.
Yeah, no, sad.
Elves are dodgy. Um,
Well, they
No,
are
no, no.
dodgy.
Ruinborn are
Just
dodgy
pretend.
elves.
Findeath, are you streaming separately, by the way? I can have them link your stream
Yeah,
in the announcement. Can you
Oh
send me a
yeah,
link to it?
yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, sure. Hang on. Let me just find where I posted my link last. All right. And do you want me just to post it in the DevClash team thing?
You can just
I'll just
yeah, that's fine right here. Yeah, I was just gonna have it. I was gonna ask one of the mods to add it to the announcement.
Mhm.
So Karlov is gonna be a little late, and I know he was the one I said probably should be your next interview. If you want to do like Ditto or Taters, they're both here. Probably no player war at game start.
Hopefully.
Unfortunately, Armanistan's not going to be here. Labstein is here, and the Yin people are here, so Sus or Lab are both available.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like they're going to have much going on for the next session, probably,
Fair,
or this whole
fair.
session.
Maybe not, considering that Elend here is just like, yeah, Labstein is there. Where's Sus actually?
Sus versus Brelar.
Trying to find him.
Brelar.
He's
yeah.
north.
Oh, Brelar. Ah, right. This Republic. What is it a Republic anymore? I actually don't know. Yeah. Oh well.
Beppa's saying he fought to have Drow, but sadly it won't happen. Dodge.
Yeah.
A lot of people have
Yeah,
fought
you know
for
there is
Drow.
actually
There's a sub.
there is a sub mod, yeah, to have Drow, and it's basically where in the area between Akruprin and the Yin, that those mountains, that's where the caverns for that mod are, and they have Drow for it.
I would
The
interesting
Yonamoy Mountains.
I would be down for that because yeah, Drow do belong in mountains.
Yeah. And they're not anywhere. They're not connected to the dwarf are, so you don't have to be afraid of dwarves genociding them. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I'd be down for that mod being just straight up integrated because I love me some Drow.
You should.
Yeah,
I
would they
made a
just be
lot of
considered
changes, by the way.
Runeborn?
Lambert, just a few heads up. I made a lot of changes.
Oh yeah.
There's some specific provinces in the world that are now a little different than they were before.
Oh.
So look at look at people that were playing very tall or had very high dev stuff. There's
Okay,
going to be
development
something
mode.
very special for the Crimson Deluge. So
Ooh.
just a warning
Looking forward to that.
when it does happen.
Oh god, it's gonna make everyone cat boys, isn't it?
But if you need me to like prep anyone for the interview or like give them a heads up, just let me know and I'll nag them. But anyway, otherwise,
Sure.
good luck. We're gonna be
All right.
starting very soon, hopefully.
Yeah. Thank
Cool.
you.
Cheers.
See you in a bit, Doge. All right.
So
Also, I
that
just
that was
wanted to
River
say,
Doge.
when we were talking about corn talk, what?
I was going to say that was
River-
for the people on stream. That was River Doge who was playing, I believe, not Camarco. It was something around here. He was the one
Is
that
it-
was jumping around everywhere. Ingani, but I don't know if he's still in that tag. I'm not sure.
I want to ask you something, though. Literally, what the fuck is this Camaraka mess that I'm seeing here?
This is advanced snaking. Like, you've heard of snaking. This is advanced snaking. This is... Have you ever seen videos of that, like, yellow mold that's, like, spreading around and then it finds food and then all the mold kind of, like, retreats from everywhere but that one path? That's what this is.
Yeah, I've seen that.
This is
definitely
this
that.
is filth. You should be
Ooh.
ashamed.
Yeah, he should really be ashamed. And he's not even snaking properly. You need to snake along the coast and then you colonize the interior. Oh,
Yes,
God.
for sure. But
Oh, well.
Jaharian exemplars
Yeah.
are here as well now, so you know maybe he's
Yeah.
gonna have some No, he's not. He's gonna.
No, the Jaharian exemplars, with being out with military and small, they're not going to stand a chance. But if they were big enough, then they'd be a contender. But it's AI, and the AI is massively dumb.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, did you know that the Jaharian exemplars are actually getting revamped?
Oh, I
reworked
didn't.
from what
Please do tell me.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what they're changing it to, but it's like but what they originally are is literally they conquer most of Tayshend and then sack it and then just go back to their OPM province, which becomes 60 dev just because of that, and they get like 5k. It is a fun experience, and I'm wondering if they're going to try and retain that. But that's just what I've heard.
See, right now, like I've just had a multiplayer campaign. I think it's got like a week left, really. And we have a Jahirian Exemplars player who, I think, maybe because we're using a Bitbucket version plus some submod additions, his capital got to like 140 dev. Due only like purely because of that event where you get like elves running away from Bulwar into the New World, and it's
from that event.
Just from that, like, that event just kept firing over and over and over and over and over. And so, yeah, he's sitting at like 146 dev or something crazy.
Jesus fucking Christ. I mean, you get 60 dev at the best of times there, but
Yeah.
140.
Yeah, no, it's kind of cracked. I'm going to try and see if I can find it.
Yeah, no, I think the event is bugged.
Probably.
Right. Yeah. Alright.
It's
So
the province of Dazinair. It is.
It's Dazinair is literally just a rename of whatever your capital is, as far as I remember.
Yeah, 151 dev.
151 dev.
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah.
Oops, that is a lot of dues.
It costs 999 mana to dev it.
Of course it does.
It brings in 18 tax, 28 production. It's got 175 trade power. It's silk as well. It's cracked. It's absolutely wild.
Yeah, it's insane, and I'm guessing this is with all the production buildings on top, or is it literally just without?
Oh yeah, no, it's fully built. Fully built.
Yeah, I thought so. I mean, still insane even without the production buildings.
Yeah, it's just cracked. Yeah, I mean, the Resin Can player basically had a free game though, but yeah, it is what it is. That's Aelantia gaming.
Yeah, you can't really say that Jahirian Exemplars are going to have a hard time unless there's a player in Larankar, say, or there was a player in Amaeon, because then they can kind of contest Jahirian Exemplars when they arrive.
I suppose, yeah, because when I did my game as Amaeon, the Jahirians I think I ended up vassalizing them. I think I actually ended up having Wag play as my Jahirian vassal. Oh, no, he played the vassal that went onto the island, and then we conquered the Jahirians. That's what happened.
Oh, yeah, the colonial nation.
Yeah.
What has happened is region-wise, so few provinces. Well, I think the Jahirian Exemplars has just arrived.
Yeah.
Like in the last session, I assume.
It doesn't look like they've been here for too long, yeah.
Yeah, it's been like, I would say, like 2 decades at most. Maybe 1 decade, actually. Also, how is it only 1506?
I know, right? It feels like so much has happened, but it kind of just hasn't.
Yeah, I mean, like, Rakaz and Tilinkau have expanded. This is what? And they've expanded to massive decrees, but I guess this is what happens in MP when you don't give a shit about what their aggressive expansion.
I mean, aggressive expansion, it hurts to a point, but then it just seems like there's a flick of a switch where aggressive expansion just no longer matters because all of the AI that are left are either being killed, obviously, or they've joined one coalition, but there's like 7 different coalitions for them to choose between, so they're all split between them instead of all, going in for one.
Imagine if they could join multiple coalitions. How ass would that be?
That would that be? I mean, it would suck for people, but I don't know if it would be ass. I feel like that might actually be good. I don't know.
Yeah, but then it's like you're getting constantly called into coalition wars because there's no reason for them not to just keep firing because there's going to always be as maximum amount of members that they can have in the coalition. So you're just going to be dragged into multiple wars without being able to say no or yes.
True. But it would make sense for it to be possible, though.
And yeah, no, absolutely. I think it would make sense to be possible. Probably like ultimatum. If you had an ultimatum, then maybe you could it'd be a bit more balanced. Like if you could just say to the coalition target, "Hey, could you return all these provinces back. And if they say yes, then you just don't wipe out their aggressive expansion. Although that could also be abusable. So, oh well.
Here's a question for you.
Let's...
If you could
Mhm,
change the map in any way, obviously Anbennar's map, what change would you make? And we're just going to discount making all of the Forbidden Plains an ocean, just because that's the easy answer. We want something a bit more interesting. Like, what change to the map? I've already got delete Forbidden Plains in them in my comments. Yeah, no. What change would you make?
All right. Well, I would not be deleting the Forbidden Plains because I actually love the Forbidden Plains as it stands. Anyway, it can only be improved. What I would do is actually the you know how in D&D there's the Underdark, right?
Yeah.
What I would do is essentially create a sort of like in Warcraft 3 you had these interior sort of off map parts which would be separated from the main map by a wasteland, let's just call it, so you can get to it without going to special places. Well, what I would do is have the Underdark be represented with that, this gap in between Halis, Incia, and North Alentia.
Yeah.
That gap there. Just have the Underdark be represented there with the Obsidian Empire and whatever creatures that reside down there.
It's funny
as well.
It's funny because a submod for Anbennar that we used to use, we did a couple of multiplayers in it, did something similar with, they had Ruby Hold and Silver Forge and probably another hold, I don't remember. But basically they had like digging deeper, and they had like extra holds, like 20 or 40 or whatever, like hold levels that basically were colonized hold provinces. And they put them in Incia. And obviously you could only get to them through like Ruby Hold, Silver Forge, etc. But it was an interesting mod, let's say. It was only Ruby Hold and Silver Hold.
And it probably most accurately it represents what fighting in a hold would look like, honestly.
Yeah.
Because it would just be you'd be fighting on layer and layer, and you'd be a slow progress to take the hold.
I don't believe that anybody who ever played that mod ever fought in those holes. I don't accept that it ever happened.
It's quite hard to get front.
Yeah. But it's an interesting idea. I think the issue is if you're fighting against a player, they go and siege your hold that is over in Canor, and you're building troops and such in Incia to repel them or whatever. But for them to go to Incia, they would have to have the map, which is, I don't know, not really that easy.
No.
Also, they just like randomly click over in this area in the Terra Incognita to try and click in the right spot to move there. It is just awkward. It's kind of an awkward thing.
Yeah, plus if you're invading for the hold for the first time, you're not going to reveal the other holds that are in that area, and you're going to just go siege up the hold and think, oh god, I'm fine. I'm just going to go over here to siege a different hold, and then you get a surprise attack from behind. Exactly. That's not really fair at all, I suppose. So that's probably why it's not in the base game.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting idea, but certainly not. What would I do? Well, Forbidden Plains get flooded, but no. I just had a thought. What if, you see the area that Ovdaltungar owns right now? What if all of that was an island, and there was a hold where Ranger's Post is that went out into the water, and that was Ovdaltungar. The hold of Ovdaltungar is the hold that goes straight into the water.
Findeath, ready up.
Yeah. Interesting. What?
Ready up, Findeath. We're ready to start now.
Oh yeah, ready up. Sorry.
You good.
It was me last week. So it's. But yeah, then you'd have an island of however many provinces that is, 20 or so provinces, and maybe Eberthil wouldn't have quite an easy time of being naval power. Or maybe he'd conquered that island and then be even stronger. I don't know. It's just an idea that I just had while looking at Ovdaltungar.
I honestly think that Yeah, I think Everthil never has a great time anyway because of Busar alone. That's just the way of it. Also, I just noticed there is a new island in Bahar that I didn't notice before that has a straight crossing.
There's 2.
When was that added?
But I only ever saw
Ooh.
it in the Bitbucket, so soon. It was added. It was added soon because
Right.
this version isn't free yet. And no, I don't mean that the hold would be digging into water. I mean it would open out onto the water. Because like you say that, but look, Ovdal Tungur is a hold, and it leads out into water. So it's basically the same thing.
Literally, it's like the side of the mountain is a big cavern entrance, and you just see ironclads just sailing into it.
Oh, I love it. I love that idea.
This is a
That's
future sort of scenario where, that would be.
That is my next request for. Well, I don't really make requests, but I hope that ends up being a loading screen at some point. Like, of Dultungur ships sailing into. Oh, that sounds so cool.
What about the Phoenix Empire laying siege to Odful Tunga?
Yeah, elven
That'd
ships shooting crossbow bolts at a big iron gate. Love it.
Yeah, it's a big iron sea gates, or like the Constantinople chains.
Yeah.
Like the sound toll thing. That'd be interesting. Oh yeah, is there any FODs? Lord Lambert's stream should have some FODs that are from the previous few weeks that I would recommend going through.
I have also put all of the VODs over on my YouTube channel. Just Lord Lambert on YouTube.
YouTube channel would be even better, actually.
Yeah. So yeah, a bunch of countries got some save edits to bring them back up to stuff after last week's kind of anti-RP war. Basically, the long short of it, from my perspective at least, was Corvuria kind of got ganked, and under the pretense that he had a vampire ruler, and his masquerade or his facade suspicion is on 0. So nobody knows he's a vampire. So stop.
Oh. No. Absolutely. That should not have happened if the facade was 0. But if it wasn't 0, then I would say fair enough. That's an RP war right there.
Yeah.
You would try and wipe out a vampire if they're ruling openly.
Look
at Luciande right there. No, never mind.
I did literally have a situation like that in a multiplayer that I was casting for recently, where our Corvuria ended up fighting against I think 6 or 7 players, but he was in out and out Witch King, facade completely dropped. I am evil.
Okay.
And he did his really best. He did end up losing, and his vampire was fucked off. But then, like a month later, he got an event because his vampire estate was at 100 loyalty, so he immediately got an event for a new vampire ruler. So it did nothing in the end.
So he just basically traded one vampire for another, right there.
Basically, I mean, they got rid of the powerful mage at least. But yeah, the peace deal.
Yeah, no, the powerful mage is way more of a devastating one.
Yeah. The peace deal, I believe, was that Ibavar would leave the Empire. As soon as this hot join is over, I'm going to see, is Ibavar in the Empire? Has that been reset? Because originally the war was declared for Empire lands from Corvuria, and it looks like they've gotten those from them. But I believe what ended up being taken from them in the peace was also Asheniande lands. So it's like a big blob in the center of Corvuria, but that seems to have been reset, and they haven't kept that. But yeah, there was a bit. It was a bit cope, but it is what it is.
Yeah, you can't really help it sometimes.
At the end of the day, these people are devs, but they're also people.
Yeah, and they're also bad at the game. Just keep that in mind.
Not all of them. Some of them, like Wag's pretty good. And
yeah, Wag's pretty good. Fair enough.
And honestly, Amanda is one of the toughest opponents I have ever fought in EU4. Her Ovdal
Especially
not
when she's
Govdol, sorry.
playing by
Verkal
Sanchez.
Gulen was Plague in my Phoenix Empire side. But yeah, let's have a look. Imperial map mode. Yeah, Ibavar's actually out of the Empire right now.
Right.
So they kept that
I
change.
can't look at Imperial map mode anymore because won't join.
I got it though. I got
God,
it.
I think I might have to restart the stream because it's yeah, I'm gonna have to restart the stream because my bitrate is way too high for the mobile broadbands and going into this multiplayer at the same time. So I'm gonna be right back with that. Alright, settings. God,
It is
why
what
did I
it
not
is.
test this out beforehand?
Streams be like that.
I guess my output should really be 7. Yeah, I'm gonna have to put my output to 720p. I think. Let's see.
Yeah, Weg, I said you were good at the game. I can't really comment on most of the devs because I haven't played with them. I can only comment on the devs that I have played with. And you know, Wag's pretty good at the game. Amanda's pretty good at the game. Which other of these devs have I played with? I don't think I
I
played
don't know.
with
Does the
Beagle.
name Lord Abaddon seem familiar to you?
No. Oh, you know what's funny? I only just realized. I was talking with Mike earlier about my Ovdel Kanzad run, because I was just having fun with some dwarves, and I only just realized he's a dev. My bad, I didn't realize who I was talking with. Taters was your colony in the Kobold's Endgame. Aha, okay. And Amanda disagrees with the statement that she's good at the game. Look, I lost to you, therefore you have to be good at the game. Otherwise, that means I'm bad, and I refuse to accept this. First time catching the stream live? Well, welcome. Hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, happy to have you.
So let's go. Actually, I'm gonna have a look at Ovdel Kanzad because the guy playing Mike gave me a lot of tips for my own Kanzad campaign, and let's see what he's got going on. Lots of nobility, power, no debt, which is definitely different to mine, for sure. He's actually rolling in cash right now. That is a huge income. He's currently digging down. Yep, alright, cool. He's currently deepening the capital. He's halfway through on that. He is currently dig level 6. Yeah, he's digging real fast. Got military infrastructure. When I did the hold infrastructure, I actually went with production for the +1 production goods produced, because I just thought that was really good. Maybe I was wrong. Who knows? Minus 390. Oh, he has debt. Okay. I didn't realize how much he was in debt, or he was under, but he had no debt.
So who's in debt?
Ovdel Kanzad. When I checked, they had no debt, but they were at minus 400 ducats. So,
minus 400 ducats. Yeah. Okay.
He's also getting Earthseed now.
What are they building? That is probably a... Yeah, I know why he's in debt, because he took loans to do the hold layer. I'm fairly sure that's what's happened there.
No,
which is always worth it.
He's already 50% through it. So
already 50%.
Yeah. He's also getting Earthseed, which is one of the ancestor hold holy sites. So
yeah.
Not sure
ancestor
if
worship.
Yeah,
really just the bear religion.
Well, yeah, I guess. But yeah, there's Amaldir, Hehodevar, and Earthseed currently owned by dwarves. Maybe we'll see more of those as time goes on. We'll try and get more of them. Yeah. It's funny because none of these provinces at the start of the game are owned by dwarves, but Arg Ordston is. And now Arg Ordston isn't, and the rest are. So what happened to Arg Ordston? Who owns that right now? Nobody at all.
Ordston, nobody. All right, yeah, no, they're gonna have to. Wait, oh yeah, remember when, I think it was like in the first session where Mass Butcher pretty much slaughtered the Ordston, and then they started for some reason migrating away from it, but I don't know. Whatever, that's their dealio.
Maybe Begin's expedition can go and take it back.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, if I were them, I would definitely do that.
We also have Ovdal Lodum sieging the Blackbeard cartel, who are currently sat in Gorbarad. Which is very
Blackbeard
interesting.
Cartel and Gorbarad. Wait, God. Oh yeah, they're trapped there. They're not getting any. Well, yeah, like Megan's expeditions there. Okay, never mind. I keep thinking it's the Blackbeard Cartel.
But
It's
yeah,
like they were always going to be the farmers in lore for the hold it Gorbarud, the volcano hold. Yeah.
Carinya is doing pretty well as well.
Corburia. Oh, wait, no, not Corburia.
Carinya. Corintar, basically, but with like a
Corintar.
and a Neko thing, and it just we don't know this. These are.
I hate the name Corinya. I was going to ask earlier. This abomination come to be?
Like I came to accept it. I came to accept it. What I don't like now is the fact that the White Walls of Casnor are being shared between the two of them. Like it's like
it's like imagine like if we had the Great Wall of China, just owned by two separate nations in Vanilla, and they had a visual demonstration of the wall. Like you would imagine if these two ever went to war, they'd be fighting along the wall top.
Speaking
like
of fighting,
speaking
of fighting, we have Viacok. No, wait. What is this war? What is this war that we see right now?
Overtroll.
Yeah, Busala has attacked.
Conquest of Dishak.
Yeah, Busala has attacked Viacok, and Viacok is a player. Should be a player.
Allied with the trolls of the north.
No, it should be a player. It has been a player, but it's AI right now. So I don't know if it's the player is not able to make it anymore, and they've decided, no, I'll just drop out. Do whatever you want with Viacok, and Orbitrol was unfortunately still allied with them. But yeah.
Yeah, poor Orbitrol. They survived this long.
They were.
Wait, hang on, so who is playing Overthrow? Because last I remember it was it was Jorg.
Oh my god, no. The Viacok player is still here. He's gone to Mix.
Whoa.
We've got Knowles in the New World. Pirate Knowles. Yes. This tag is amazing. We've got the Pirate Republic of Mix.
They always just. You should always colonize all the islands around the ring as the pirate knows, just so you've got a consistent raiding sequence just going around in a circle.
Yeah, this mission tree as well is really, really good. He's going to obviously be fighting with the likes of Busalar and who else over here? Moonhaven. Basically, there's a few key provinces that he's going to need to advance his mission tree. And well, when he gets those, he gets very, very, very strong. Also, at some point, he'll be able to get himself a unique flagship, or he's got one of his flagship has unique modifiers on it. Something along those lines. I can't remember exactly what it is, but yeah, these guys are like top tier scary navies in the mod. So we will be watching
seen them. I've never actually played them with the mission tree. Maybe I should at some point, because that just seems like a lot of fun.
It honestly is. So I wonder, did Viacok just like send a bunch of money to his allies beforehand, before he dipped out?
I mean, I probably would have if I was him. Like, it doesn't affect your going to a new country thing.
Ovdaltungar has also attacked Viacok.
Ovdaltungar, yeah, of course they did. They need to expand their trade empire.
Naturally.
They need to keep control of the Bahar trade node. I'm assuming that's where their trade is currently doing. They've still got their trade capital here, yeah. mean, why would you move it from Oddful Tunger?
So yeah,
Unless you're going to move to an end node.
from what we were saying before as well, Seriand currently on 71 out of 100 provinces. Obviously, they can go after Syadan, they can go after Askasur. There's also some provinces in the south from Rakaz and I nailed that.
Right.
That they can go for.
Yeah,
But
they can go to...
Bursartenches, they're on 74. And while that sounds like, oh yeah, no, 74, they're closer. But the amount of provinces that they could potentially get, there's no expansion for them. They're allied with Sariand, so it's not. There's no expansion for them.
They could possibly get a few provinces from the Harpy Hills. That's the only expansion route I can pretty much see happening.
Yeah, but that's what 7 provinces, and then they've got another 5, 6, 7 from Earlium. Maybe 2 from Bulwar, and that's kind of it. So
yeah, no,
it's a shame because I really rate Bursartenches forming Phoenix Empire.
Yeah, of course you do. You simp for their starting leader.
Look,
she's still alive, yeah, because she's.
Of course I do, but also because Phoenix Empire is a very expansive tag. You expand. That's kind of the job. And Bursartenches is like the administrative style tag out of the various elves here.
Yeah, so
it really helps.
Mr. Administrator, Mr. Religious, and Mr. Military, and Mr. Magic. And then there's like Mr. Cat Simp. There we go. I've described all the different roles of elven society right there.
Yeah, I think you pretty much nailed it. But yeah, that's why Bursartenches is one of the best for it. And also Celadora. Why? Yeah, you just would.
Yeah, she's just one of those. Right. Okay, I'm just looking at Rakaz now because they're not going to get any. They're not got any missions yet, but they seem to be very successful thus far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, while they don't have any missions, the default mission tree is actually kind of decent. They're not being weakened by not having a mission tree.
They just don't
have the flavor. Yeah. Especially for multiplayer, like there's missions in here for getting morale, getting money, all that kind of stuff. And I've seen quite often that when people play in multiplayers with custom nations, they'll actually keep the default mission tree until they've got like the build manufactories one for a fat amount of ducats before they form a tag which has mission trees. Just because it's good.
They're also really good ideas for cavalry, as far as I can see. So I'm guessing that their whole focus is going to try and be if they ever get a mission tree, that's going to be about building up their cavalry.
Cav shock plus 0.1. That's like, here, we're going to give you a really good modifier, but only 10% of the really good modifier.
Yeah, it's fair enough. I was just thinking more of the cav cost and then the cavalry combat built-in infantry ratio. They're well on their way to actually being a cav nation.
The problem is, unless you can get 100% cav to infantry ratio, you're not really...
It's useless, yeah.
And he's already got aristocratic ideas.
Like, it's possible for him to get horde ideas soon. Like, I don't think so. There's no way he's going to get horde ideas unless he can actually form a horde, which I don't think you can as an old pack. Yeah, and oh no, wait, he needs to. He can form a horde. He just needs to not have monstrous nation. So that's probably why he's demonsterizing. So eventually he can reform into a horde.
His next reform can give him plus 10. He's already at 80.
Yeah, plus 10, so it'd be 90.
And being over now only drops your tactics by 0.1 per percent that you're over. So you'd only be losing a little bit of tactics, which is actually pretty bad. But like, you can handle it.
And there's nothing in the Null religion that gives you cav combat, a cav to infantry ratio. So yeah,
No, he can get more
one with tribes.
tier 6. No, that's become a horde. Never mind, you wouldn't want it.
Yeah, yeah, he needs to become a horde to get the full benefit. So yeah, he just needs to become a horde straight up. What do the gnolls even ride? Is it just giant hyenas? Is that what I'm imagining now?
It's gnolls piggybacking other gnolls. Like
Yeah.
canonically, it is just gnolls with more gnolls on their backs.
I'm just like when you're null writing null comment made me remember the D&D thing where you could have centaurs technically mounting other centaurs as cavalry. That is a thing that is applicable in the rules of D&D, and it's funny to me always. I don't know if it's like. I think it's.
Has it changed? Because now, is there no longer those crazy fire-pipped gnolls where you just like, powder slaves now do only one pip?
Oh yeah,
they've changed.
the powder slave, yeah.
These guys used to have like 6 or 8 pips of fire damage.
Yeah, that's definitely changed because of they were so overpowered that you just keep the powder slaves instead of upgrading to the next level up, which was, not good.
I feel like removing all of the pips though, it went maybe a little bit too far, maybe.
Oh shit! Why am I lagging behind? God damn it!
And also, yes, as was mentioned, the gnolls do have amazing unit models. That's like half of the reason to play them now, right?
Yeah, and you can see in Rakaz they're now just drilling, just jabbing the spear forward. That model is not breaking apart at all. That's pretty good quality.
Yeah.
Although there is a little bit of slide, but yeah, that's fine.
I mean, let's go find a human and see if they also do a little bit of sliding, because I don't know. I feel like they all have a little bit of that.
Yeah, let's just call it a feature and not a bug at this point.
It's great. It's a great model.
It's fine.
I kind of hope that we see something similar for like the dwarves, like not new unit models, but like you take the unit model that they have, and you just kind of compress it. Because
just make it stocky.
Yeah, the unit model for the dwarves is phenomenal. I don't have anything to say bad against it, but like, let's make them shorter, and then
it could be a bit better, just more in flavor.
More beard, sure, but just a little bit shorter, and he's perfect. We stand our short kings.
What if you had the armor from like in the Hobbit film? There's the people from the Iron Hills. That army uniform would be great.
Oh yeah, look. If the option is there to have a fully realized new set of armor, new model, look, I'm always going to choose that. But like, I'm making the small suggestions that.
Yeah.
But if we could get like full new models for every different race, look, I'm down. I'm there.
I mean, we could definitely downscale them because I'm fairly sure the kobolds got downscaled quite a lot.
Oh, there's apparently a chance that there will be a Verkogulin 3D model of the Heroes Gate in soon, TM. At the moment they have what's this? It's
the
I can't remember the name of it.
The Buddhist walls in Findeath, yeah. That's just the hold entrance for everyone, but that would be actually more unique if they actually had the Golden Gate there.
Yeah.
But then people will just be like, what about the other dwarf holds? What model did they get instead of the Buddhist models?
Yeah.
To be honest, I actually like the Buddhist model, honestly. It's very dwarfy.
I mean, who else but the dwarves are going to carve a giant statue of a humanoid? The only problem with this Buddhist model,
does it, a dwarf is going to do it.
Only problem with it, it's even got the right proportions, right? Because you can't see the feet of the Buddhist model, so it's like it looks like a short king. But the only problem, it doesn't have a beard.
Yeah, no.
Dwarves would never carve a statue of someone without a beard.
The dwarf there is literally he has he's just decided to shave his beard all because he's an outcast of society and he got mocked for it, though he became an architect and built gates. That's what I'm guessing happened there, and he was so successful building gates, but his statues are just goddamn ugly. But they can't afford anyone else to make proper statues, so that's my headcanon right there.
Yeah, we can go with that.
Alright. Okay, so let's see. Wineport has definitely gotten much bigger, and Red Glades is now a vassal of Wineport. Makes sense.
Yeah, Wineport's
Right?
been doing really, really well.
Yeah, are they going to be forming Lorraine then?
I mean, they have to fully kill the rent first, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to take how many wars? It will take 2 wars to finish them all.
It depends if he has any war score reduction cost.
You're right. Though I don't see any in the national ideas. He doesn't have diplomatic ideas, so no, doesn't look like it. Oh, wait, hang on. Something's just happened here. I transformed, and there's now South Roy.
Someone is working on the Golden Gate of Verkogula, and look who is in the Empire in the west. The Empire has expanded. Wineport is in the Empire.
Yeah, okay, that is a fucking huge chunky boy right there.
God damn.
How did they get into the Empire? Like, did they just
Maybe
get added, like...
I feel like they may have been in the Empire for a good while.
We just haven't noticed.
Yeah.
I
imagine that's probably the issue. But he's, you know, if he formed Laurent, though, would he leave the Empire? No, he's an elector, so he'd be fine.
Yeah, he'll be fine, absolutely. And plus, why would you leave the Empire in that situation? You are a massive elector. You can just make yourself Emperor and just make yourself even more powerful with the Emperor bonuses.
Also,
I mean, it's doing...
Wineport has a fat mission tree with quite a lot left in it, and I honestly kind of rate it more than I rate the Laurent mission tree.
Yeah.
Ideas-wise, will compare as well.
Yeah,
I'd say Laurent has better ideas. Yeah, Laurent definitely has better ideas.
Does.
The morale in there, cav combat ability, discipline, infantry combat ability, yeah. Wineport starts as a republic. That's true. Yeah, are they still a republic? They are.
Yeah, they'll probably stay as a republic until Age of Absolutes isn't coming in, and might just go for it. Oh yeah, Riverdale is now going to kick people who lag the game. Oofed.
Hold on to your internets.
I think my internet is actually now stabilized since I put my mobile broadband on top of the buttercup in the kitchen.
I mean,
fine.
going with mobile broadband is a vibe all in itself.
Yeah. Oh god.
Oh, we do actually have Mithridum has formed now. They were.
Oh, Mithridum.
Azra? No, they weren't Azra Expedition. What were they before? No, it was Azra Expedition. They had a huge war against the another dwarf that was in Ordelum Asdir, and they beat the crap out of them, and now they are Ascendant. But yeah, they formed Mithridum, which I think probably has the best idea set out of any of the northern dwarves.
Yeah, and they've also got quite some interesting missions about the moving a large group of people out of your nation. Interesting ones.
Look,
and also
that's clearly way less problematic than the Forge Master Union's hold, Harrow's Ordelum, which is all about moving a large number of people into your country and then putting chains on them. Who has the best noodle?
I feel like that's more inclusive, I say, than killing people. Slightly.
Wait a minute. This is new to me. Go and have a look at Azka Evren.
Okay, God, I know where it is. Why am I trying to search it? Okay, what's
Bursartench's neighbor. Since when was this a surface hold?
What?
Baharzil is a
this
surface
is
hold.
this is the thing that Riverdose was telling us about earlier, like how big high development promises around the world are have a surprise with them, and this must be what he meant. Like, okay, let's look at other high dev provinces in the world, see if there's been like Wineport. See if there's something Wineport. No,
Ah, okay. All of the
good.
people who are playing tall have now got. Anbenkost is a surface hold. What? 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 Ain't no way.
Brilliant,
Um,
brilliant.
Sister is
God,
not. Like Tellum, the hold of Tellum. What?
this just reminds me of that sub mod where there was like the whole caves inside Koblistan where just became holds.
Yeah.
All the caves, they just became holds. It was interesting to say the least.
Actually, you could probably just do simple terrain map mode. What
Oh
color is
yeah,
a
no.
hold? Oh, hold doesn't have a
It should
very
be like
unique color. Actually, that'd be quite difficult to.
I think it's not assigned. I think the colors changed with there's more terrain types added in. Like, uh, could be wrong on that, of course, but I'm fairly sure that's how it works. Yeah, the terrain types will tell me that Wineport is urban. No.
Oh, Wineport should definitely not
Colds
have
are
fun.
gold. Yeah,
But yeah,
definitely
I
not. They're
see
too big.
Tellum,
Wait,
I see Anbenkost, and I see Azka Evren.
North Iswell. North Iswell.
South Castaнаth? The hold of South Castan. In what reality is Corinna a playing tall nation?
No idea. And also, Castanav itself is supposed to be like a above ground hold. God, this just makes it even more powerful. But yeah, North Iswell, like the province of North Iswell, is a hold.
Okay, but like Raven March did not get a hold. Currentar got a hold.
Yeah, and they have maybe Ravenmark should get the Castanav as a you know compensation gift for not getting a hold.
We also have maybe there's a hold in Averin is also a surface hold.
Of course, naturally.
The dwarves have
Yeah,
finally made it to Elantir. There it is.
And they've mainly had a surface. Wait, okay, I think I found another one. Yeah. Look at the leech dens.
Ain't no way. Ain't no way. There is a way, isn't there? Apparently there's also one in Dahui.
God.
I
All
don't
right, let's see
it.
where else. God, yeah, no, I can't see any other holes. Maybe there's some in Halus.
Yeah, it's where I'm looking at the moment, but I don't see any in Dahui.
I mean, obviously, apart from that hold that's already existing at the start of the game. Doesn't look like it. Strange. Although it's kind of hard to see that random yellow.
Is there?
Yeah.
I don't see a yellow one. Maybe I'm just being blind.
Like, no, the hold terrain for simple terrain map mode, it's hard to see that yellow.
Yeah.
Uh,
Maybe we just have a look at the dev map mode.
Yeah, the dev map mode might actually be a bit better.
I don't think we got one. But yeah, no, it's wild. I don't believe this is going to be a thing in the release version, let's put it that way.
I don't know,
Which
maybe
is...
they will have a change of heart and decide to have a new terrain that allows you to build mega cities, and you have to reload the game in order to make it a hold terrain. That would be awful.
There is obviously one thing I want to say is with the new version of Anbennar, the one that we're currently running on, it does get updated week to week, but also it is a part of the next update, which will be coming out on Steam on the 20th of November. So if you want all the new stuff, and you can wait until the 20th of November, or you can go onto the Bitbucket and download the current hot code version.
Download the current version like the rest of us. It's good, I swear. No bugs.
And Thorfindel saying he can confirm adding surface holds to these locations for the Sarhal update. One, please don't. But two, there maybe is some other places that could do with more holds, but I don't think that's them. Not them. Maybe Silent Repose could be a hold. I don't know the lore behind Silent Repose, so maybe I'm just wrong
maybe
there.
have more holds in the lane tier would be great. Also, I just want to point out, like, have you been to the Sar Halflings island yet? Like, have you seen their monument?
I haven't seen their monument, but I have seen their flag, which is awesome. Their monument.
Yeah,
Let's
the
have
flag
a
is
look at this thing.
on the capital. Look at that monument, that tier 3 right there.
Global modifier of all power costs. At least it's only 1%, so I mean, okay.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Oh, we can't see it anymore. But what basically it does is that encourage plant growth no longer gives devastation.
Oh, that's so nice.
That is so powerful.
That is beautiful. I'm a big fan.
I would ignore the current tax meta for plant areas, and I would just put production buildings everywhere because you're going to have a lot. You're going to constantly press that button.
Oh yeah,
no devastation
so
whatsoever.
worth it.
Oof.
Just unfortunate that we can't. Maybe we can tag on to one of the devs that are in chat and tell them to open that menu so we can have a look at it. Maybe, yeah. I know, Wagensu is in chat, so maybe we'll go and tag over to Dahui so he can open that menu for us. The magic menu.
Magic menu. Right, so which tag was it?
He is Dahui.
Dahui.
Will he open the magic menu for us?
Yeah, no, you can see the magic menu because it's an event trigger.
Oh, no, Wag's not playing. Damn it.
Oh, right.
We've been.
But yeah.
Would you guys like to interview Karlov right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Let's interview Karlov.
I will
move him into the
containment room.
Yeah, perfect.
All right. Okay.
All right, I'll go let him know.
Karlov currently playing my favorite tag.
All right. Hello, Karlov.
Hello.
How you doing?
Hello. I'm doing pretty good.
You're playing my favorite tag.
I missed last session, which I hear was chaos. So I'm coming back and trying to figure out what happened.
Yes, it certainly could be described quite accurately as chaos. It's fun to watch.
I'm happy for you guys.
But yeah, how are you doing on Bursar Tenches? Are you treating my girl Celadora well?
I think I am. She's still alive, which is great. She survived the badness of Samartal,
Perfect,
which is good. I've lost 3 heirs so far, so she's outliving lots of siblings and children, which is, I'm sure, good for her mental health.
Oh yes.
As for the country itself, I think we've got some hilarious opportunities here. I think, taking colonization and colonizing the Serpent Spine, definitely the right thing to do. So we're gonna see what silly things come forth in this session.
I would like to also ask, how are you going to plan on trying to form the Phoenix Empire with your?
I think Sariand and I have worked it out such that by the end of this, neither of us have 100 provinces, such that nobody gets to be the Phoenix Emperor. But
okay, that's one way to go about it.
Because here's the thing: if one of us is the Phoenix Emperor, that's completely unacceptable. I mean, then they're practically lording it over the other person. They're taking the title of Emperor. That's hard feelings. That's terrible. But if just nobody's Phoenix Emperor and we just nod at each other from across the street, then I think that's a much more peaceful coexistence.
Perfect.
So, yeah. I don't know if that's gonna last, but
by the looks of it, it's not going to last at all because Sarian can't just literally try and conquer the lands into the east and still form the Phoenix Empire. So you might need to do something about that.
Yeah,
Maybe.
So I mean, I guess.
So
we're running out of Bulwark to grab.
So moving away from this game a second, can you tell people what you work on in Anbennar?
Sure. So I am the writing lead and the Rehen lead. So I started out working on localization, and I built the Favored of the God system for Regent Court. And mostly I did that because it was really it was 3 events copied a ton of times, and I figured I could learn how to do that because I'm not very good at coding, and it was mostly just a mountain of localization.
Right.
And so from there, I got involved in writing national ideas in Rehen, and now I oversee Rehen development, review mission trees, develop lore. And then with the writing team, I'm mostly involved as the coordinator because there's just a real volume of writing that comes in. And so we have writing reviewers and writers, and I try to keep everybody appraised of what's going on, where we are with various pieces, and who needs help with what. So I've become a writing manager.
Considering one of the strengths of Anbennar over pretty much every other mod that's ever been made for Paradox game is the writing. I feel like being the writing lead, that's kind of prestigious. And
also a lot of responsibility, I imagine, as well.
That too, yes.
There is a decent amount of responsibility. So I mean, our process, I've never worked on another mod, so I don't know how different our process is, but we do have a writing review step. Lately, Altanim, who is one of our writing reviewers, has been doing the heaviest lift on that, and I want to acknowledge him here because he has absolutely been carrying the team. But yeah, I mean, we have writing guides where we try to explain to people what you're looking for and why when you're doing writing, teaching people how to vary diction, teaching people how to kind of be consistent with their verbiage and provide a reading experience that isn't just technically competent but also sounds right. And I think one of the things that we give feedback on the most, because Anbennar is such a global community, is how things sound to different linguistic base ears, right? Things from American speakers may sound different through the British ear or English as a second language. So trying to get people acclimated to what sounds right versus what doesn't is one of our challenges.
Yeah. And you guys have a lot of interaction with the Chinese community, especially, I think?
We do.
On that front.
We do, yeah. So the Chinese community is a great resource. I'm in the Hales channels a lot as Rehen lead, so they have their own, localization team, because I think they've localized Anbennar for Chinese standardized, or at least parts of it. And it's always great. We had a couple, God, is that a couple years back now? Wow, I'm old. A couple years back, we had a whole discussion with them about how, some of the things we had named places in Yanshen didn't mean what we thought they meant. The classic example was there was a place that we were trying to name after a spring because it's like a holy water source, right? And it was, we had named it after the mechanical spring that bounces, not the spring from which water flows, right? So having those linguistic bases is critical. They provide a ton of support on what flags should look like, what characters we should use. So it's great to have them, and they're a godsend for us.
I kind of low-key really want there to be a situation whereby if Verkal Ozavar occupy or takes and controls that province of the water spring, it gets reverted back to its old name with the mechanical spring, because dwarves, I just think That'd be really funny to
I
have
would
that
honestly say
localization.
Mechanum more than that. Honestly, than dwarves. If Mechanum get the province, then they should be able to do that. Just
Look, I'll support that. I'm here for that. That sounds hilarious.
Or
So
gnomes.
let's drop it in the suggestions board, and when Inzia comes out, we'll.
Hey, we
add
don't
that.
need to drop it in the suggestion board. Remember, everything that's said on stream is canon, so yeah, that's canon.
That's fair.
Any time a Mechanum or Dwarf Nation conquers that province, they just get the decision to rename it to Mechanical Spring, and there we go.
Let's go
No
the
other
whole
benefit.
way. If you have your artificers above 75 influence, it gets renamed. Something crazy. Why not?
This all sounds reasonable to me.
Yeah, no, I see no issues with any of this. So what was your first project then when you became writing lead? Like, what was the first kind of things that you worked on?
So for me, like, writing lead is a weird one because it doesn't necessarily have like if so Anbennar's team structure, right, is you have contributors, and then you have contributors who are core for a region, which is mostly just an acknowledgement of you doing good work there consistently.
Yeah.
And you kind of get brought in on some of like the internal discussions when we start bandying about crazy ideas in the core channels. Then you have reviewers who look at stuff and try to create the best possible content. And then you have the leads who are like final say, lore organizers. Writing doesn't have like a whole lot compared to some of the leads who really determine the direction of the region. Because like, how do you determine the direction of writing? So the two things we've really done was, since I became writing lead, was we have updated the onboarding experience and the contributors log in order to make it easier for people to understand, how do you get experience in Anbennar, right? People show up and they want to do something big. And we love when they want to do something big because we love that passion. And harnessing that passion is how we are able to create the best possible experience.
Yeah.
The problem we run into a lot is that if people want to start with a gigantic mission tree for their first contribution, oftentimes it takes a lot of reviewer time. And we've seen, unfortunately, a lot of people wind up dropping these. So we want to get people started on smaller projects first, where they can gain experience, learn how to code, learn kind of how we review, do events, or do national ideas. And alongside that, we released a whole bunch of updated writing guides, advice on like, how long should things be? What are you looking to do? What tone are you trying to capture? And then the other thing I did as writing lead is I've reorganized a writing review system. So before, the writing review system was people would ping writing reviewers, and then it would get lost in the void. Now I have added, I've built a new basically project tracking system to make sure that if you get lost in the void, you can yell at the person who was supposed to review your thing. Sometimes that's me, because I get very distracted. So mostly just, we're trying to make joining Anbennar less
Daunting?
of a terrifying thing. I've had multiple people come and say to me, like, yeah, I logged into the server and I saw that there were about 100 channels and 3 million threads, and I panicked and left. So trying to provide some sort of way for people to feel like, oh yeah, I can do this, I understand what I have to do. That's the goal.
What is the process like for reviewing a mission tree then? Is it a case of you doing it in chunks as it's being written, or would you be given, here is a new mission tree that I have made, it's finished from start to finish, review please? Like, what was the process like?
That's a great question. So what we do, mission trees go through 3 steps of review, which some people have pointed out is a lot, and they're not wrong. But mission tree review starts with regional review. So you show up and you propose themes for a tag, right? You are going to say, hey, I think this is a really cool tag, and I think that these are my ideas for like some of the stuff we could do in a mission tree. This is how I see the tag. And they will propose that these will be the themes that you'll be going through over the course of the tree.
Right.
And once theme review is done, so you'll go back and forth with your regional reviewer or your lead on your themes.
Okay.
Once you finish up themes review, you'll go to the actual content of the tree. Now, how do we review that is a really good question that I ask myself every time I'm doing it, as I think about how much of a fraud I am because of my imposter syndrome. But mostly, what we're looking for in a tree is you're looking for missions that are going to be fun for people to engage with. We're looking to discourage time gating and instead find alternative ways to keep people engaged with the existing systems.
Yeah.
We like to keep people using the regional systems that exist and tying the tree back to those. And we're looking for consistency with lore.
Right.
So you're trying to create a tag that makes sense in the given environment. And all of that's good. But then once that's done, it goes through the content review phase, where basically content is the team that decides, okay, have you done something that's just like way too big here? Is this going to be like way too much of a lift for your team to execute? Is this just way too much for one tag, right? Is this really a regionalized system? And then we put it through a round of balance review where they check over all the numbers and go, actually, 750% cav combat ability like on Dugajir is just a little too much, right?
Yeah. Definitely remember things of that sort happening.
Yeah, it's a little bit.
Yeah.
There's somewhat of a powerful phase. So normally what that that entails is that's you go back and forth and you chat with the contributor in voice calls about what it is they're looking to do with the tree, and I often find that people are really passionate about seeing their creations come to life, but not everybody knows what's like really feasible with mission trees, because sometimes they can be a lot to execute. And everybody gets inspired by playing something like Castanor.
Right.
But we love Castanor. We don't necessarily want every tree in the mod to be Castanor. It's a gigantic endgame thing, right? So trying to pull people's ambition back in and say, each mission should have a couple of objectives you need to complete. You don't want it to just be like, have 80% army force limit, but you want it to have to like do interesting things that are outside of like necessarily your normal play patterns. And you want people to not have to like overload on missions. We don't need 150 missions for every tag, right? So it's a balance.
Sorry, I was kind of absent for quite a lot of that because I was fixing a green screen issue in my stream.
No worries, I was rambling aggressively.
No, we enjoy the ramble. We do enjoy the ramble.
Yeah, no, the ramble is amazing.
So, can you give us an example of a mission tree that that you've been reviewing that may be coming up in the future, like maybe something in Sarhal if you're reviewing any of that, and like how much back and forth really goes into these things? Like how long would it take like an average mission tree? A multi-layered question, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. So something I'm reviewing right now, and then how long does this often take?
Yeah.
So for the Sarhal update, I'm reviewing, or I have reviewed, 2 mission trees that are gonna be hopefully in the Sarhal update. They're in content review right now, who are considering the flow of the trees and like the actual material, and that's Buvari and Sangariar. So Buvari, we all know the big green blob, the terror of the trade nodes, is going to be getting their tree.
It's past last, but they're honestly really important.
It's one of the big 3 Raheni tags, right? The command has theirs, Deni Jansar has theirs, so Buvari getting theirs is a big deal. Buvari's whole thing, to go into the lore on them that we've worked on, because Edward, who is the contributor who is working on getting this executed, he and I have spent a ton of time figuring out the lore of the time period. He's been a great contribution to the team. He has been kind of helping me figure out how Buvari works, because it's a slave republic. It's a bunch of people who revolted against the slave trade and have now created their independent state, but they use slavery still. They didn't abolish slavery. They were a bunch of it became a situation where after the revolt, the people were the freedmen were so afraid of the local population, where they were outnumbered, that they continued the kind of system of taking slaves from Sarhal and training them as soldiers.
Okay.
Right.
So
I was wondering, like, how did they become so hypocritical that they were just, they broke free and like, now what? Let's just enslave other people.
Right.
I was
It's
wondering,
a
that makes more
situation.
sense.
It's a situation where Buvari's, the land they control, is kind of our analog for the Bengal Delta, which is one of the most populated regions of the world, even to this day. And so you've got this massive population of people who've recently ruled over you and see you as slaves, but you're in control of the military apparatus, and the Raj is bearing down on you. What do? Well, we need a loyal unit of soldiers. And so it creates this kind of horrific system, because it is horrific, and we don't... nobody's really challenging that it's not a good thing.
Nobody endorses slavery on these
right.
streams.
No,
They...
we often joke, like, Rehen is, it's like, wow, we've done a whole lot of work to create really just one of the most horrific societies ever. Why did we keep doing this? We've got this racial-based caste system, and there's slavery, and the fascist hobgoblins in the north. So, yeah, it's not good. It's not endorsement. But Buvari's tree is kind of about how do you take that and you make it a state, right? So it explores both, the government system that exists now, which is kind of a compromise between various families descended from different ethnic groups who had been taken as slaves in the original revolt.
Yeah.
And then their expansion, how they view themselves, reformation of that system, which ties into Suhan's praxis, the new Raheni religion that's spreading.
It's like, for example, in Burabari right now, they're being led by Sarani, so that's sort of the whole thing. It's just random tags that aren't cultures that aren't in the nation. It just comes from abroad. That's the whole dealio.
Right. So there were Buvari slaves, there were Fingalan slaves, there were what are they called? Tekinchi slaves. So all of those ethnicities still have importance in Buvari. Outside of Buvari, Yarishar is doing really well this game. And Yarishar is one of the tags that will be able to form Sengariyar, which is a new formable for the southern cities, the 5 Ragamadeshi tags, which are, at start of game, Davarol, Avavabuya, Sarkashabid,
Sardapin,
and Shenral. So all those coastal ones, the ones that stretch along the southern coast. And that have colonized parts of Sarhal in the past 30 years before the game starts. And so that mission tree is about creating kind of like the merchant confederacy, and you will come to dominate the other city-states. And it very much leans into playing tall. We are aware of the perception that pretty much every mission tree in Hellas is like, conquer all of Hellas. So we're trying to not necessarily encourage more of that. We have enough play styles for people who already want to do that. And this one is very much play tall. You conquer a little bit of Rehen, and you build literally a great magically warded wall to be like, this is our homeland, and then everything outside of it is not our homeland. And it's about representation and trade power and being able to influence downstream.
Big fan of that.
More separatist. Oh, my vassal's got it. Hell yeah, not my problem.
So in all of this, you're still playing your tag and talking away, but like still slightly distracted sometimes.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yes, and also
I'm sure
just
things are
drilling
fine.
your troops.
They're drilling. They're doing good.
Right. Okay, I just wanted to mention something from earlier. Like, I've noticed that for some reason, Ark Oxtun is under Asgra Evren's control.
Hmm.
And yeah,
Hmm.
this
Seems reasonable.
what the fuck happened here? Yeah,
You
okay,
know what?
reasonable enough, but they can't core it. Oh no, wait, hang on. Are you,
No.
Carlo, are you planning on eating their surface hold?
I mean, look.
Yes.
My dear cousins of the Everins We're Lying really got a poor shake out of this, and they're accusing me of the fact that their nation attacked me during the Samartal Ball. That, if those accusations continue, I mean, we would have no choice but to seek accord for being insulted that way. But not necessarily.
Well, Masked Butcher just got released by Aska Everin, so maybe
Wait,
if you do take him, he's dead.
Yeah, well, it's
there we go.
We don't necessarily want to be rude to these people who just keep saying. I mean, what's the most recent fake letter we've written back and forth to ourselves? That's pretty nice.
I do remember
Neither
in the
accusations
first
nor demands. Okay, that's cool.
I do remember in the first session there was a lot of buzz around the roleplay that was going on between yourself and Aska Everin.
Leanne. Yeah, Leanne's.
Definitely makes sense now, knowing that you're the writing lead, that you do a bit of writing. Makes sense.
The game gave me the opportunity to have an outlet for my writing. So,
yeah. So, you do a bunch of reviewing of mission trees. Do you write mission trees yourself as well, then?
Yeah, so the ones I've written, let's see, what have I done? I did Denijan Sar, I coded and wrote all myself. And outside of that, wow, that's a whole bunch of things all at once. Outside of that, I did writing for Segdir alongside Wordna and Grimhar. We kind of split that one. I did writing for a couple other mission trees scattered about. Oftentimes when it's something in Rahan, I'll provide either writing or writing review for it. So normally the way that people will wind up calling in their writer is they'll find someone beforehand. They do their mission tree, and then as they're designing it, we have enough writers that somebody tends to be hanging out in chat while the mission tree is being drafted and ideated, and so they express interest, and then you work on that. What was the last one I had actually done writing on? I feel like I have a whole bunch of review responsibilities now, and I don't have time to do as much writing.
You have ascended.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's honestly fair enough.
Yeah, what were my recent projects? Let me just check my drive. That's where I tend to put these things. I've done a bunch of national ideas with Edward in Rahan lately for new ideas.
For the new nation that's about to be a formable.
Yeah, Singariar. So we still have to draft those national ideas. We wanted to get the mission tree through its phase first before we could wanted to make sure that it was cool with content. Basically, when you add a new nation or a formable, I always like to make sure that content is on board and happy with it before. Because then, if it has to be redone, I wouldn't want to make people have to do that.
Right.
Go through all the trouble of getting a flag. Although I think we do have a flag to tricolor. I know, we're creative.
Yeah, no, very creative, and just not limiting that to the revolutionary nations at all. Nope, sorry.
I don't know. I feel like
oh god,
some of the revolutionary flags that I've seen have been rough, to say the least.
The auto-generated revolutionary flags really make some of the most cursed flags I've ever seen.
I mean, I've seen a tricolor that had all three colors be white. So it was literally
Look!
just a white flag.
That's a damn sight better than the British Revolutionary flag. I'm just not gonna lie to you. That thing turns the stomach. It's awful.
God bless
Hateful.
the
Fair
rebel.
enough, actually.
Biggest
Oh,
reason
God.
ever to
Wait.
not go revolutionary as Britain is that bloody flag. Yeah, so say there was somebody who was looking at Anbennar, they've been playing a while, and they see a tag that, oh, they've got a cool flag, their national IDs are cool, but oh, they don't have a mission tree. That kind of sucks. I have ideas. How would they go about from that stage to actually writing something and making a mission tree?
Yeah, so what you would do is if this is your first contribution to Anbennar, you would go through onboarding, which is you either do write some national ideas or write an event, often flavor events. There's something we're always looking for more of. We have a ton of different religions and culture groups in this game that don't have a whole bunch of unique flavor, and so it's always good to try to get regional flavor. Once people do that or some other onboarding task for their region, such that we know, hey, you're gonna follow through on something if you do it, what you do is you will check the onboarding sheet just to make sure that this isn't some tag that requires more experience. Like, for example, if you want to do something like the hold that just got eaten, the Dwarven hold, which is Arg Ordston, they're like a big important power, and so Auris asked that Auris, who is the Dwarvar lead, asked that somebody who's done at least one other mission tree do this one, right?
Right.
So once you do that, you show up and we have a template that you fill out, which is like, here are my themes for the tag, and you justify it based on, so like, this is what's in the national ideas. I think that these things would be cool, and here's how we would try to mechanically implement it. And then you ping the reviewers for the area, and you just kind of start a conversation with somebody of like, so what do you mean by this? What's going on with this? It's pretty casual. And then once you get your themes approved, you can go draft the actual tree part of the tree. That involves mostly the longest amount of time is the initial drafting, figuring out how all of the commissions are going to connect with each other. We try to steer people towards creating mission trees that are less than 50 missions. The Halani census. Karn's Hold is the most developed city in the world. Oh, and Corvuria is corrupt. Classic. Good job, Corvuria. Then once you draft your mission tree, you'll talk to your regional reviewer, the same person who put you through your themes, and figure out what they like, what they don't. They're going to try to steer you on regional flavor, on some initial impressions on, okay, here's how the other stuff we have going on in the region works. We don't want to steer too close to another country that has basically the same themes, right? So here's how do we make this different? How do we make this feel cool? A lot of the times we struggle with stuff that's like really easy in other Paradox games, that we have had to jankily insert into EU4. So like anything with the racial system is a little bit janky. And so accepting versus purging and all of that removal would be incredibly easy in Stellaris. But we're not Stellaris, we have to make it work. Anything that deals with the creation of new estates always requires like a second look, because new estates are huge to code. So once you get through that, what you do is you get to go to content review, and then balance review. But I realized what I just did there was I outlined process, and what's more important is how would a person approach this? If they're looking for, I want to get involved with Anbennar, I want to make content for this country. I think the first most important thing you can do is just come ask questions. So if you have general lore questions, you can always just ask them in the lore general channel. But if you're interested in a region, you can always show up and say, hey, I think this is really cool, and I want to make content for it. Here are some questions I have. oftentimes, if it's not written down on the wiki, the answer to that is, that's a great question, we don't know, we haven't thought about it yet. For example, I had someone in the Rehen channel who recently showed up and was really interested in theology for high philosophy, and has now just kind of run with some of the questions she was asking. We've got like a 30-page new lore document written as a book all about high philosophy and the cool stuff that it does there. So you can always show up, ask questions, see if your perception is correct. I mean, when I first arrived in Anbennar, I had my first question on the server was, yo, what's up with the fact that not Antarctica is green? Does that mean that there's a whole like southern half of the planet? They're like, nah, man, we just never bothered to make it cold.
Yeah, don't tell them about the secret eldritch penguins that live down there.
Right, like, but you know, and that led me to ask other questions about, like, what is it supposed to be like down there? And those kinds of questions are pretty much always allowed, right? Those are encouraged, and we want people to ask them. And you kind of, the thing that I've found is most people tend to, like, find their niche after they spend a little bit of time asking these questions about, like, hey, I think X is interesting, can you guys tell me about it? People are generally really enthused to talk about Anbennar as a setting because we spend a lot of time on it.
Yeah.
And we love talking about it. So I want to encourage everybody to just come out. And if you've got general questions about the lore, just go to one of our lore channels and ask. If you want to help create lore and you feel like there's a vacuum somewhere, come by and just say, hey, I'd love to be involved in this. You know, is this a cool idea that we think would work in the area? Because that's how some of our best work happens. It's more of a conversation than any formalized process. We try to keep it less formal. You know, people think there's a little bit too much already of like, well, we've got all these different phases of the review process. But ultimately, this is supposed to be like a fun collective world building exercise that we execute in U4. So we want people to feel welcome.
That makes
sense. And also establish their own adventures.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Would there be... So earlier on, we were talking about the fact that Anbennar doesn't have any drow in it.
Yep.
Yes.
Just to bring it back to that. If somebody wanted to make a mission tree that would, I don't know, reference things that aren't in the mod right now, but you look at what they've written about it, their ideas, they're super passionate about it, and what they've written is really cool, and you think, maybe. Is there space for, like, changing Anbennar in that way to accommodate cool new ideas?
There's definitely space for changing Anbennar. So that's one of those things that is, you know, kind of it's a really good question to ask because it's a topic that people get kind of a split opinion on a lot of the time. Is like, what do we, you know, this is all fake, right? Like, so why do we have to keep anything consistent? And this is, you know, but like, are people really invested in what exists? And the answer is, we're invested in making the best possible game possible. So what I mean by that is, currently the Forbidden Plains is going through a massive rework.
Yeah.
Because we're aware of the fact that the Forbidden Plains is not an area that people are really enjoying. And South Atlantier is going through a big rework right now because it hasn't had enough stuff. And being too attached to something that isn't working is not something that we do. We are open to all sorts of new ideas and potentially changing the lore. When it comes to changing things like the terrain, we have to be a little bit more subdued. You know, recently we added a couple islands in the Drollus Sea because we were trying to promote connectivity. And so now we're figuring out what the lore of those islands is. But we can't necessarily like change the shape of Canor majorly.
Yeah.
So there's only so much we can do with like to that degree. But you know, I'm very open to changes in the setting. For example, in Sarhal, there are some Haramari, right? They've migrated over there for various reasons. We've got different points in the lore where they show up. Would I be potentially open to having a nation of all Haramari spawn later, like a pirate event? Totally, that could happen, and we could follow that lore line. Would we
Is this
be
the
open...
Harimari idea that they become lion prides, the lions from Africa, that sort of style, or is it, to contrast the tigers and Harimari in Healers?
We have the Haramari, the critical lore thing about the Haramari is they showed up during the Day of Ashen Skies. This is like a great question. Like, what is the critical lore for a place versus what is not critical lore?
Right.
Almost all of Hellas is built on the idea that the Haramari showed up in the year 0. So we can't really have them show up outside of that. But we could definitely entertain the idea of and since that time, they've done all sorts of things and they've gone all sorts of places, as long as it makes sense for them to do so.
Yeah.
I don't like to say lol no to anything, as long as it's going to be at least somewhat consistent to the critical points of the mod. We're not getting rid of the Day of Ashen Skies. But we could totally add a whole bunch of connections between, across North Hellas to the Forbidden Plains in all that open area to try to improve connectivity between regions. And then what's up there? I don't know. It's a big open area. We've been joking about what's in the valley for years.
Yeah, I'm just looking at a valley right now.
Ultimately, I think
I was going to ask, what has anyone suggested anything truly outrageous to you about the valley?
Tons of things. If we want to go through just the ones off the top of my head,
please,
we had,
yes.
Some lost lizardmen.
I like it.
Okay.
We have so there's some lost lizardmen, kobolds who are adhering to some other dragon who we haven't yet figured out. We had Fey centaurs. That was one of my ideas. We've had Fey-aligned centaurs who are trying to reconnect to the Fey and teleport over there. We had ideas for Siberian tiger Haramari up there. We had ideas. Yep. We had ideas for all sorts of different ogre ideas, different types of hobgoblins, and what's some of the weirder stuff? Because there were some that were just really out there.
Yeah. What was it? I remember Tibetan ogres being one of them.
Tibetan ogres. Yep. Yeah. Oh no, I remembered. Sorry. Precursor elves from a different planet who had sky ships and have come back through the portal that is supposed to be up there.
Yeah, that's out there. There's
a whole bunch of stuff.
There's a line here that needs to be drawn there.
There's a whole bunch of stuff that's out there, but the important thing is I'm amenable to listen to those ideas.
Yeah.
Right, and we do have areas of the map that are still blank canvas. So I do want to encourage people to be like, hey, would X work? Now, I generally acknowledge people when they're coming up with a cool, crazy idea to at least search for keywords related to your idea on the Discord before, so that you don't have the 74th conversation about something. Because having the 74th conversation about something, even with a new contributor, tends to be how people get unreasonably upset when people who don't know something ask a question about it. And I always try to not do that, right? It's that people don't know. So we explain and we're patient. But I like to spread the message of always just do a little bit of research first.
Yeah, I just went and searched for how many results there are, how many hits there are for Drow in the Anbennar Discord. There's 1,300. There's...
Yeah.
Look, I like Drow. Just
I mean, people do like Drow.
Yeah.
I think would drow make sense in the serpent spine? I don't know that they would from a standpoint of like,
No.
the serpent
Unless
spine
you had
was kind
something
of
else
like
that stayed behind apart from
explicitly.
the Canios group, that in a way that orcs are kind of like the drow in
Right.
this setting.
Well, yeah, no, they are. So we kind of have that like niche filled, but could there be subterranean stuff elsewhere with elves? Maybe.
I see some mountains over here.
Yeah, there are, and of course, I think there are mods that have done like stuff in the New World with underground Runeborn.
Yeah.
Either in Amadia or in the Ekunamoi region. The mountains between the Inn and
yeah, there's a sub mod for the Kunamoi that we were talking about earlier. How there was the caverns in there and some drow tribes. That was an interesting.
I'm gonna try out that sub mod. Look, I just like them. But yeah, I mean, there's space for adding that. Like, so even if you have an idea of something that isn't in the mod yet, or that there is space for those things to be added if you've got a good enough idea, enough passion, enough skill, all of the different things, all the stars aligned. There is space for it.
Yeah, there is space for it. I mean, it's not guaranteed, but there's definitely space for it. We like one of the things we've been hearing a lot of concerns about is like people like regions that have racial diversity and tags that allow you to play different races in different regions. So there's been a push lately to add some more of those to the mod. We've added a new harpy tag in the hills between North and South West. There's been the new harpy tags that were added to Bulwar, those minor provinces.
Kobold Zia.
Sorry, what?
There's a new kobold tag in the Zia.
Yeah, so like there's definitely space for these kinds of things, particularly when they fill like a niche that isn't otherwise filled, or where we could definitely have more representation. So
like
yeah,
Wuxia kobolds is the H that's been scratched there when the new kobolds got added.
Yeah. There is always a little bit of like a, well, why not this, right? But the worst thing that can happen is that you say, well, why not this? And then you ask and it gets denied. That's really the worst thing that can happen. So
not like the developers are going to go to your house and murder your families.
Right, exactly. I try not to track down people and brutally bludgeon them for suggesting that we should maybe improve things.
He's not managed it so far, but he's trying.
I'm trying. I've only done it twice.
Yeah.
What? So yeah, exactly. There's definitely space. We want to hear your ideas.
Is there an example of that? Of something that has come along and is not a part of the mod, and somebody's come up with an idea for that? Do you have any examples?
Morodic Hot Springs is my example.
Mechanim, maybe some stuff in Insia, I'm imagining.
Well, yeah, most of Insia is, it's still very up in the air as opposed to what can be there. And so a lot of that cool stuff is definitely part of it. I would say, like, examples recently, or recent-ish. So Haragsada, the Kavangaga religion, so that like other Gnollish religion, that's like focused on like recycling and scavenging and like making new stuff. That was part of like a big effort to make gnolls not one note, right? Gnolls have the possibility of being seen as like very much like, oh yeah, the gnolls, they worship demons and they have nothing else going on for them. But we like to steer away from a whole species.
Stereotypes.
Yeah, we like a whole species to not be seen as doing exactly one thing.
Yeah.
Because that's not how it tends to work, right? So we're very open to that kind of thing. Outside of the stuff in Aless, we've had some major redefines of how like the lizards work and their like city-state organization, and their starting setup has been changed. What were some tags that are new? There's been some talk of adding harpies to Garudia as like Valhalla migrating harpies, which sounds pretty dope.
I'm honestly in favor of that, because just having Garudia be a bit more diverse than just orc, half orc, half orc, as it eventually ends up being. It needs to have a bit more of a variety there.
Right. So that's something that's definitely like in discussion about getting added to make it more distinct and more flavorful.
I'm personally in favor of having orcs that split apart become reavers instead of becoming, Grombar up there, because fighting orcs is an image I like.
Well,
yeah, there's definitely. I think at one point there was a question of whether or not we could have a like Garudian adventurer in the Broken Sea up north of Elantir. It would be interesting if they had an orcish theme. But there's cool. So those are like tag changes. As for like small improvements, the suggestion board does yield good changes pretty often. So yeah, that's what I've got off the top of my head.
I like it.
All right. Okay. Well, that's grand. And all right, I'm just going to ask you a general game playing question instead of what you're doing. Like, basically, what nation in Anbennar would you like to most play? Like, what is your nation that you come to again and again?
I got to be honest, it's Vern. So
Vern.
I find myself being drawn back, despite the fact that I'm the Rehen lead, and I should say, I play in Rehen every single time. I find myself being drawn back to Vern whenever I'm just like not certain what I'm going to do, because it allows me to kind of assess the like state of colonial gameplay, because they have the ability to do that colonial game. They can play in the Empire, but they don't have to. It's easy for you to leave. You can go into a con. It gives you access to the Divenhall Sea. And so that gives you a whole bunch of places you can go and people you can interact with. Plus, Wyvern Riders are pretty fucking rad.
That's not wrong.
Italian culture added on top of that is just perfect.
They make the pizza, they adventure, and they have dragons. What more could you really want, right? So when I'm just like, I need to just play a game and check how things are on the patch, I don't have any mission tree I want to explore in particular, I find myself being drawn back to Vern.
I don't really have anything like that for Anbennar or for EU4, but definitely...
So your tag to go back to is always going to be Vern in Canor.
In Canor, definitely. Yeah, I think in Hellas, I am partial to playing the Raj just because it allows me to check how crazy stuff has gotten. Because then I have to go through every possible disaster. But yeah, I'll often the other one I tend to play when I'm playing dwarves is I like to play Segdir. I think Segdir has a really interesting tree that like gives you a lot of options for going inside or going outside, and it has good co-op possibility with Azkasur, so that's always fun to play with friends.
All right, and welcome back, Lambert.
Not a problem. I did mute myself and then forget to unmute myself, so I have tried to chime in with little bits.
I'm so sorry.
No, I did. It's all good. We're fine. I was gonna say I don't have any kind of tags that I go back to again and again in Anbennar, because there are so many things that I have yet to experience that redoing the same thing again seems like a missed opportunity in some ways. But I do have that when I play Imperator. I always go back to Macedon, so I definitely understand the idea of having a tag that you go back to just see the state of the game. So that definitely vibes with me on that one.
Oh yeah, I just want to say something. The Yin is kind of undergoing a bit of restructuring.
Yeah, Eordand in the Yinnick Empire is something I didn't think I would see.
Yeah, and Palmer Vasson is out of it now. It's an interesting. God, what the fuck is this?
There's also an actual war between Mix and Sestiermark as well.
Well, when is Mix not in a war against anyone?
Mhm.
All right. Anyway, Karloff, I'd like to thank you for giving us the opportunity to interview, pick your brain about both the game and what you do.
It was great to
Is
be
there
here.
anything you would like to say before we ceremoniously boot you out?
Oh, well, thank you for warning me of the ceremonial booting that will be happening soon. No, I want to encourage everybody to come by and give it a shake. Come by with your questions and come by with your cool ideas. This is a community project, and we're
No
not a
matter
black
how
box.
ridiculous they are.
Yeah,
I mean, just bear in mind, you might be mocked in off-topic about your ideas. That's just something you're going to have to live with.
No. We can't scare people away yet. We can't scare people away yet.
So yeah, we always want new ideas, and we're always happy to listen. And so I love it when new folks come by and are passionate to work. It's how we get this stuff done. And if you love this game, come by.
A suggestion, or have you got any suggestions for tags that we should check out? Just throw one out there. Something you want people to go look at.
What are some really cool tags that I think people should look at? I think if you are a player who loves a challenge and a challenging start, I think Seadan is a tag you should really look into. Just because they start sandwiched between Jadari and Zaka and have to win that war with whoever's there in order to thrive. So if you're a player who likes a challenge, I think they're really cool. And if you're a player who likes a very alternate playstyle, I do recommend Verkal Azovar, where you stay as one province the whole time, because it's a gameplay experience that you're not going to get elsewhere.
That's very true. All right, thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you here.
It's been great to be here. Thanks, guys.
Cheers. All right, commence the unceremonious booting.
Oh no!
Bye. I nearly dragged you into that channel.
Whoops. No, that was good fun. Enjoyed that.
Yeah. Oh god, there was so many things that happened. Like Irdan becomes the part of the inn. There's this one nation in the middle of Ys Morta that has a very interesting flag and nation name.
In where?
Iselmora.
Iselmora.
The troll nation. In Sarhal. Like, you see that little white tag that's in the middle of it.
Oh, yes.
I think they might become my favorite.
Violent-hearted goose. Oh, I love it. That is a flag. That is a tag. Yeah.
And their ideas aren't actually that bad, honestly. I mean, they could be better, but
I mean, having 2.5% all power costs in your ideas, that's good. Got advisor cost, shock. What else is great in here? Their only military stuff is infantry combat ability and the land leader shock, but that's not bad.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. I'm guessing they have the infantry combat ability because of the fact that the nation is a goose. And I'm just thinking goose dead now.
Oh, I didn't think of that. Fair.
Yeah. Alright, okay, there's another player war going on, and again, it's Obertroll that's in the middle of it. It's Mix and all that.
I think they've been called in purely because of the team system, which is one of the failings of the team system. But it looks like it is mostly a... Sestiermark is trying to conquest the 7 stone trolls. Which is... what? Where is 7 stone trolls?
7 stone trolls is going to be somewhere in a new world, I think. Okay, so it's against
the island
directly, so it must be an island, yeah.
And it was being... Oh, okay. What I think happened here is it was being colonized, and Sestiermark has attacked, occupied it, and stolen the colony. And now...
that's what happened?
Yes. So, the province that they're at war for, they already own, and it's almost done as well, because he's put his own colonists there. It doesn't look
it's
like Mix is trying
honestly-
to get it back, though.
Yeah, it's honestly fair enough though, because you don't want a pirate having access to your coastlines to raid. And if they
don't.
mix got that island right there, that gives the North Trolls Bay and the West Trolls Bay sea provinces ability to raid. I think. Wait, or can they already do that? No, they can already do that.
I think what they could do, which is kind of funky, when the war is ended, they could colonize that one province that isn't colonized right now. Chucks Jafin Zobui. It's like, what can you do? We have a truce.
They could truce break.
I'm not sure if that's allowed here. But yeah, no, definitely good move from Sistier Mark.
Yeah, no, absolutely. God, every single time it says my game is slowing down, but it's not my internet doing it. I don't know what it's doing it. Like maybe it is my internet, but I'm just not noticing it. Oh well. Anyway, what else is there in the world?
Well, this doesn't really seem like a war that's actually being fought. There's no mix attempt here. That's boring. We'll look away from there.
Yeah.
Other places, Corinthar got its full province.
Oh, yeah.
It's got the whole entirety of the walls.
No, it's just aesthetically pleasing. Even though they've got a town on the outside, they've got several towns on the outside of the wall, so they're just in danger of being attacked.
That's always going to happen though. But yeah. Silverlord has, the white walls are cast no modifier, but the city itself on being on the outside, it's just a bit weird. Maybe the wall could be moved or something. I don't know.
Yeah, just move the wall slightly north to encapsulate all the cities within.
Yeah.
I don't think you would ever build a city on the outside of a giant wall. Maybe you would. I don't know.
I want to say, surprising no one, I think. It's actually the player who is playing Corinthar that was the one who made the white walls, like the models for it.
Yeah.
And the reason I say surprising no one is because they also made the model for the units, which is
the god awful units right there.
It's also incredibly funny when you see them fighting, because the spear is definitely inside the head.
Yeah,
oh no, and it walks as well.
It's
nightmare fuel for sure.
No,
but it's funny.
Good. So many people are part of the same war that I keep thinking there's a separate war, but there is another war. Right in the south, Drupal's Newt playing as Gazawak. I can't say that. He's fighting Wega Evanbega. What the fuck are these names?
I'm pretty sure you said Drupal Snoot. I don't know who that is.
No, that's the player playing as Gawa Kiza.
But yeah, there's definitely
Sarhal.
Yeah, the Halfling Island, or is it gnomes or halflings? I forget.
No. Well, yeah, that
halflings.
Island is halfling.
Halfling Island is fighting Wega. And it is actually a real war as well. His fleet is out there blockading. I don't believe he's landed any troops there yet. What kind of war is this? It is just a war.
Is this an event war?
No, the war goal is to blockade ports.
It's a trade war.
Yeah,
I
think trade wars are actually not allowed by the rule set of this game. Because I believe in the previous session, Biakok did attack Ovdaltunga with a trade war, which was a rule break. So I'm not sure how legal this is.
Maybe it isn't a trade war, because wouldn't it say trade war? It says it has a special thing above it. It wouldn't just say war.
Yeah, it may. I mean, maybe event based. Kind of hard to say.
Yeah, I mean, we could always ask people. later what that's all about. Alright. Okay. I'm actually really sad that I missed the whole interview with Hoya about India, because that's one of the things I've been looking forward to for so many years now.
It was
Just playing Mechanum.
It was very much a. It was kind of wild. Unhinged, one could say. But yeah, no, it was fun to chat with Hoya. And Wagensu is confirming that yes, it's illegal. Ah, I was right.
Jesus.
Is
it is
Wega
illegal,
even
yeah.
bigger now? He's even bigger than he was before, and soon he will be even bigger again. He will always be even bigger. I wonder what actually goes into. Maybe that's something we should have asked somebody. Is what goes into like naming these countries? Like, what is the method for that?
I'm not entirely sure. I think like they try and do sort of languages that are associated with the tag.
Yeah.
And they try and sort of mix it together, but honestly, I'm not sure what that logic is for Wega even bigger.
Yeah. Or
Yeah, I mean,
Wega even bigger. It sounds like a troll.
Yeah, it does, but I'm fairly sure they're human.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they're human.
But then there's also Violent-Hearted Goose.
Oh yeah, no, but to be honest, they are valid. They are absolutely so valid for being what they are. Wega, it's a rename. Oh.
Uh-huh.
Wega Bigger. No, Wega Bigger is still a weird name though.
I think they're actually. Are they not lizards?
No, they're not lizards. I've checked the culture and the thingamajigger.
Okay. They have a lot of lizards in their country.
Yeah, I think they literally start in the very south, like, and near the cross. I don't know what they call it. Sandbar to Australia.
Hmm.
There we go. They start somewhere around there.
Anbennar's Panama.
Yes, Anbennar's Panama. Yes. And now that this brings awkward memories of Scottish colonialism to me. Oh, boy.
I mean, just don't
It
go broke.
out to be, but it was quite bad.
Just don't go broke doing colonialism, and you're fine.
Yeah.
And
don't
Panama.
just let your nobility get bribed by the English.
I'm trying to come up with a name for it. It's fine.
Yeah.
The Eordan Republic is a glorious free city within the Unic Empire. Shocking. Crazy stuff.
I don't know how true that is.
No, it is.
Really
it is indeed true. Eordan is heavily under the Unics.
Yeah, but it's not really a free city. It's just
it's a collection of free cities and their surrounding farmlands.
Yeah, there we go. Now that seems a bit more like it. Oh god, the Fae are now just the subjects of the Unic Empress. I'm guessing. Yeah, Amanda was still playing the Unic Empire, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, P-Bear is dead. Rip. That's our first desync of this session.
Who died?
P-Bert.
Aha.
Yeah.
Who are they playing?
Couldn't handle it.
Leptone.
I honestly don't remember.
Leptone, yeah. South of Eordan. I don't think they've made too much game impact.
Nah.
I think it's actually the first time they've been played.
Jesus Christ, I need to stop lagging. What the hell?
That'll be the internet.
Yeah. Well, it can't be my internet. My internet's on top of the butter jar, and it's worked perfectly since then.
Shocking.
Yeah.
Oh, Istralorian
Okay.
Crusaders have just popped up north of Pomvason.
Okay. Alright.
Orcs have started appearing in the New World. Fleeing slavery, I assume.
Yeah, or is it Grum? Yeah, someone clicked that button. Also, I might have to close my stream down, just commentate, because the lag. We'll see if that fixes it, so I don't get any of these things.
There is another large player war. We've got Koboldzan versus Small Country.
Kobolds versus Small Country.
Yeah. Actually, Small Country is not a player right now. But they're also fighting Istralor. Is this... That is being played. No, it's not being played. Who are you fighting? Which players? Are you still fighting Mix?
Mix, yeah. That same war. Why can't they just stop the war now? Oh, wait. Oh. Mix is winning that war.
How?
I have no idea.
Oh, they actually went and landed.
Yeah. But China didn't do that earlier when the island was still being colonized.
So the reason that they've started winning is because Moonhaven has actually come to join, and Sistermark have been basically pushed onto the war goal, and they're going to lose the naval battle. They're going to be trapped there, while the entirety of the rest of the country is sieged.
Good. Oh, no, no. Goodbye, Sistermark's troops, because they're just going to get stack wiped right there. There's no way around. Well, actually...
Oh, no, but they just...
No, they won't get stack wiped because it's the same promises.
They should. They should have been, because they had they were sieging Trollsbridge. They could have just kept sieging Trollsbridge.
Yeah, they siege Trollsbridge, and then they can't just automatically cross anymore.
Yeah. I think that's a misplay then by the Moonhaven Mix players.
It's fine. They can still stack wipe him now.
Oh, yeah.
Or...
Is it happening? Well, half of it.
Just looking at the contrast between the gnolls and the humans right there, it's just like cultured humans versus savage gnolls. That's what I'm seeing.
And Moonhaven Samurai coming in as well. Sistermark declared the war, but...
Yeah, they declared the war for the province they now own.
Ditto is disconnected, and he needs to come back in.
Yeah. Fair enough, honestly. Also, now as an observer, I get decisions from my racial military. Have you noticed this?
Have I noticed what, sorry?
If you go back to Observer, you can see there's national decisions available in the Observer mode, and for some reason,
oh hell yeah!
I can change my racial military, and I get to see what races I'm oppressing.
Nice.
Perfect.
Also, when I'm in Observer, not looking at any country, it says that I'm observing you.
Ooh, observing me. Saucy. I'll just have to close the blinds in the shower that I'm in currently right now. Just don't look. Don't peek.
Yeah, we'll get Enders back in. We'd also consider having a chat with someone else as well.
Yeah, probably should try and grab someone in.
Ditto would be someone that I wouldn't mind talking to, actually, but maybe if his internet
Carwin
is
wants to... Shall we get Carwin in? Or have we already talked to him?
Yeah, we can talk to Carwin.
Alright, okay, I'm dragging him. 3, 2, 1. There we go. We've kidnapped Carwin.
Hello there, Carwin. How you doing?
Hello. I'm doing fine. You?
I'm good. Alright, before we go any further, before I even ask you what it is you work on the mod, can you explain why?
Yeah.
I'll explain what.
I think you know.
No, everything is fine. What are you talking about?
Neko thing and the model, the whole flag, the
Corinia.
Yeah, I just like you to explain yourself.
So basically, there is this meme, Neko. Or actually, no, I'm gonna start from the start. So at first, there was a big bang, the whole universe formed.
Oh yeah.
And then Neko formed as well. No, but in all seriousness, I was sitting in off topic, or was it in VC with like Beppa or someone, and they joked about making a Necroarch version of Corrin. And I just said, all right, I will do it. Sat down, created it in a day, just really badly drew it. And yeah, and from that it just spiraled out of the control. Like, I don't know what I'm doing anymore.
Fair enough.
Yeah. It spiraled out of control as soon as you made that bloody it's not an emoji, it's a sticker. Yeah, you just made
that's
the sticker
the
and
start of it.
That's when it became a bit too far.
All right, so with that out the way, who are you and what do you do in Anbennar other than curse it?
Besides cursing Anbennar, I am an art reviewer, mostly focused in my own stuff on 3D stuff. I don't really do much of 2D stuff. I do make some flags once in a while or fix up some icons that people send, but I mostly create 3D models.
Right.
And of course, review stuff, which is a lot of work.
Yes. So I heard that the White Walls of Casanor are your doing as well. Is that?
Yeah, that's correct. I actually didn't like create them out of like respect for the region or because of Corrin Arc. I am just writing the art guide with all of the stuff for 3D as well, and I needed to just check out some stuff. So I thought I'm gonna create a map object to see how it's actually done, so I can write it down in the guide.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and can you explain why the walls seem to be going behind many of the towns that the provinces are in?
So the walls were mostly made with the river in mind, and and based on how it's actually in CK3, because the White Walls of Casanor were first as a 3D model in CK3.
Okay.
So I use that as a reference. That's why you have like halls in some places, like up north in the province of Hunter's Folly. Right there.
Northwood and Hunter's Folly.
Yeah, I tried to make it like more logical, adding some like watchtowers right next to those places, or even created a model for a river gate, which is mostly used in Casanov. But now that I look at it, I forgot to add an actual gate.
Right. Oh, I didn't notice the river gate. It's usually hidden behind the flag from Lower Castaneff. But no, I see that there. That's cool. I like it.
Yeah, they're actually going to be revamped. I'm gonna like add more detail and just make it better, because right now I'm not quite happy with it. But that's on like the backlog because, well, I want to finish some stuff first before that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. Oh yeah. Just switching from your nation for a second. So you say that you're. I seem to remember you saying in a chat somewhere that you're going to be changing to you're going to be creating like one more racial model to be used. What is that racial model?
Right now I'm working on the centaur unit models. The first tier is already done with all of the animations and it's actually approved. I just didn't add it to the game because I don't want to put in something that's not finished yet, because it's only one tier. And other than that, I was thinking about doing either harpies, dwarves, or maybe the mechanim, but the mechanims got scrapped, I think, so that one is off the list.
Right.
I am, of course,
technically mechanim models already.
Yeah, they are the robot models, correct. And of course, other smaller project that I'm gonna do. The unit models are just like such a huge project to undertake.
Yeah.
By designing all 4 tiers, animating them, because in my foolishness when I started, I thought I'm gonna just take the hardest thing I can find, which was the centaurs, and I got stuck on it. It's been like a year, and I only finished the first tier while doing, of course, other stuff at the same time.
Yeah.
That's like the main project that I'm supposed to finish, and it's not going quite well.
So, are you the one that made the one for the goblins and the kobolds as well?
The kobolds had their model before taken from, I think it was the Elder Scroll mode.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they were just changed Argonians. and the goblins were actually Jale. All I did was do some touch-ups because Jale, while very talented, he doesn't have much experience in 3D, so the whole models had some flaws that had to be changed, like holes or just some pixels. Random points going off the model. So
Okay.
I spent time fixing that, as well as the Harimari, which they also did, based on the Khajiit model, I think.
Yeah,
Very
from
cool.
the Elder Scrolls again.
And still an improvement from the previous Haimai model, which is just the Aztec model with the no head, so it looks like they've just got a big giant mouth.
It
Yeah, I
worked.
actually don't remember that model.
Yeah.
It worked. It was fine. But yeah, no, the new model is great. So yeah, it was something that we were actually talking about a little earlier, with the idea of a dwarf model, and I had mentioned that it would just totally work to take the original model that is currently being used and just like squish them a bit. But yeah, if there is the potential to get entirely new models made for dwarves, then I do think it does add
Hobbit, dwarf
quite a
armor,
lot.
cough.
I do think it adds quite a lot. I will say, especially because dwarves are in Anbennar, like I would say a standout feature of the mod.
Yeah.
So if I was to suggest like where the priority would be for which one you go for next, selfishly I would choose dwarves.
Well, my idea behind doing the other stuff besides dwarves is that because I have some experience and I am quite I trust my animating skills enough. Picking up harpies, which would be really hard to animate, is something that I could do. I don't know if anybody who would pick it up later could do it, so I just wanted to get the hard stuff out of the way.
That's
so
fair.
It's like a easy road for new contributors. Which,
Just
by the way,
future-proofing.
shameless plug, join the art team. If you don't have any skills, you will learn. Everybody can create at least a flag. Everybody is at least in some way artistically inclined.
That's fair.
I don't think I am at all. But
No, everyone is.
No.
Trust me, everyone is.
Look.
I didn't think of myself as an artist or anything for a very long time. I just picked up 3D like randomly because my brother asked me to join a game jam with him, and I just started making models.
That's
and
cool.
We spiraled out.
I will say, if you
server lost?
Yeah, server's lost.
If you need some orc or goblin flags, my skill level is it's definitely there for orc and goblin flags.
Yeah.
For anything else, I'm sorry.
Actually, the goblin and orc flags were just reworked because they were too childish.
No, I'm no longer good enough.
You missed your chance to join our team.
Look, Skewer Drake is just peak. It's beautiful. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, it is fine. That's it. It's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, no offense to whoever created it before. I don't know who did it.
I think it was J Bean. I remember being told that Shattered Crown, they were just made in paint by J Bean. But I mean, it definitely gets across the vibe, I would say, quite well.
Yeah, but they were just what we felt for the rework was that while they are the right vibe, that they're like quite monstrous and they're not really craftsman inclined or whatever. They're not very artistic. They're still in the population of the thousands of orcs that are in a war tribe. There should be like at least one who can do it like a little bit better.
Fair enough. Yeah, that makes sense then. Alright, so you have to rehost the game crashed for Taters.
Yeah.
So yeah, what goes into making a model then? Like how do you do it? What programs do you use and that sort of thing?
Do you want the long explanation or the simplified one?
It depends. How fast is your computer at loading up Anbennar?
I'm already loaded in.
Oh, okay. I haven't yet. I only just started again. I mean, just
All right, so starting from like the basic level, 3D model is basically a mesh, which is a connection of points called verts and triangles, and they like create together an object that is geometry. On top of that, you get textures. They are in EU4. There are three used to define it. First is color. Second is normal, which is how light's affected, which then you can add details with that. So you can have like small dots on your chest that just through the lightning, it seems like there is more geometry there, but it's actually a flat surface or something like that. And also there is the in Wiki3 its properties. I haven't worked in EU4 because I just did the project for Wiki3. I think it's called the specular map, which is actually not the specular map. It's a properties map, which defines like country colors, how rough a material is. So if it like reflects stuff, and the what else was there? The specular. Wait, actually no, the specular and the something else. I don't know. I don't remember.
no worries.
Yeah, so basically, and then under all of that, you have a skeleton and armature, which like you connect points on the mesh to a bone, and then when the bone moves, the points move with it, and the bones are connected to each other like an actual skeleton and a person. And you can animate that and export it, and it should work, which it doesn't most of the time.
Fair enough.
Because the tools for modding you for 3D are really, really buggy, I would say. I actually found an issue like yesterday doing stuff for the DevClash. Sorry.
No worries.
Yeah. So I found a bug. I'm probably just gonna report it to the dev. Like found it yesterday, creating stuff for the DevClash, which I don't know if we'll see. This session, I don't know if we'll make it until the Crimson Deluge, which is for which I created something horrible, which you will love, of course.
I'm looking forward to
of
it.
Course.
All those sorts. It was just horror. Yeah, just need to keep an eye out for it. What date is it that usually pops up again?
It's 20 years after Castle of Death, or 20 years after the Cornite Reformation Proclamation. Sorry.
Right. Okay. So yeah, gotta keep an eye on that then.
Yeah, it's just more Necroarch. I'm sorry.
Of course. Is it? Are we gonna end up seeing Necroarch raining down from the sky across Canor, something along those lines?
I cannot say what it is. It's a surprise. So.
Oh god. Okay, fair enough. So yeah, how with we saying that you're working on the centaurs for like a year now, what is it that is making centaurs more difficult than any other kind of model?
I would say that it's first of all is the animations. I never have animated a horse before, and as it turns out, it's really hard. I spent around 2 months. Of course, I have other stuff to do, but in my free time, like 2 months, I spent just trying to perfect the attack animation for the centaur,
right?
Which is only like 12 seconds long. So yeah, that's about shows it. And of course, it's really hard to get the proper design with the culture, which is mostly Mongol based for the centaurs. With the unit models, because the descriptions for the tech levels, the unit tech levels, they're like pretty weird, which is hard to imagine with the Mongol culture in mind, as well as you need to have like some progression of the stuff they're wearing.
Right.
And how many types of armor for a horse can you really imagine?
Look, I was one of the fools that bought horse armor for Oblivion. I bought that DLC. I can imagine 3.
Yeah, so there will be 3 of them, and I already have an idea how to do them. Okay. I just need to sit down, finish everything else, which I'm almost done with, and I'm getting back to it.
Okay.
Can I also ask you guys, you gone into the game yet?
There's no ID posted yet.
Yeah, no.
Okay, yet. So I was just wondering if I was just being a Burke and not able to connect.
Yeah, no, we're just waiting on that now.
Yeah.
Okay. So with centaurs, could you not? I am completely ignorant of the actual process. Is it not possible to like steal the animation from cavalry that's already in the game?
So the problem with that is the exporter for animations from game. They have to convert it into something that Blender, which I use, understands. And in that process, the connection between bones is lost, which means you just have points which move the body around. So it's really hard to change anything in that animation.
Right.
And also, for some reason, some of the animations have static coordinates, which you cannot change by moving the bones. It's hard to explain exactly what I mean, but it just, for an easy fix, when a weapon is in the bad place, you can just edit the bone to be in a different place, but it just snaps back into place when you play the animation.
Right. So there's just some awkward issues relating to exporting.
Yeah, it's just easier to create it all from scratch, to be honest, based on what you had. And also, the in-game animations aren't that good, to be honest. Like, they're 10 years old for the cavalry moving, and I don't know, I didn't like how they looked, so I just made my own based on some other references I saw online.
Okay.
I think they look better, at least the running part is really good. I had a really good reference for that.
Well, I'm excited to get to see it. Honestly, any chance of a sneak preview at some point, send me a DM.
I mean, it's us, Anbennar, public development. Actually, everybody can see the progress on Centaurs. You just have to find the thread for it.
Okay.
No exclusive view for you, apparently.
No, apparently
There
not.
is no exclusive view. It's all in public.
I am going to look for it at some point then.
Art and GFX 3D Centaur. And
it'll definitely be there somewhere. Just type in Centaur in that channel and you'll find it.
Yeah.
So you said as well that you are working in the art team as well?
Yeah, the administrative part of the art team, because we are so understaffed at the moment. It's just a lot of things to do, and also keeping track. We don't have like a secretary to keep track of everything that is being done, and we have some artists that are very, very fast in what they do. So it's really hard to keep a track of everything that is being done. So creating spreadsheets, actually writing the guide, which I'm doing right now, and just talking over stuff with everybody. It doesn't seem like a lot of work, but when you do it, you just don't have the energy after that to sometimes actually work on your stuff.
Fair.
Yeah.
So if somebody, it's a question sort of similar to what I've asked before. If somebody wanted to add in their own artwork, like what would be the process behind, like saying, "Look, I made this thing for Anbennar. Do you like it? Do you want to put it in the mod?" Like, what's the process behind that?
So basically, there are of course the review pipelines for every type of content that is added to the mod. That's why we have reviewers. But in shortness, the art pipeline can be really just condensed into: you post stuff, people give you feedback. If you fulfill their feedback, everybody is happy, it gets into the mod. That's it.
Okay.
So you just need to make the lore people that you're gonna add to and the art reviewers happy, and that's it. And it can just go into the mod. There's like, you don't need to write an application. You can just go into the Art and GFX channel and say, "Hey, I want to do this." I would recommend starting with something small, because we had a lot of people, as it was a problem with content as well. That's why they added the onboarding. We don't have onboarding recently in our team. We had the same issue that people started to doing like some bigger projects, like some very complicated icons, some I don't know, racial pick or unit 3D models, and they just disappear.
I have found the thread with the centaurs. I do like what I'm seeing.
Thank you.
Very nice. Oh, he has flair? He has flair? No shot. Okay. Nah, this is... Look, there was a level at which I was expecting and to be impressed, and then there's what I just saw. That's very good.
Thank you very much. Trying my best. It's months of work, to be honest, so feels good.
No, that's...
Yeah, we always appreciate all the work you do.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, you're showing it on stream, alright?
I am, yeah.
Yeah, just don't show the upper. No, they're unfinished. You're showing older versions. No.
I
Yeah,
went to...
show the oldest version. Yeah, there we go.
You can see his ass like going upwards when he lands. Weirdly.
Uh-huh.
If you play it, and it just
It's
off.
not the best part of it. The arse just going up.
Look,
It's it's like Jello. It's Jello that's starting to stand up. I don't know why it looked like that. I had to fix that.
No, but I mean, showing the process is a whole part of it, though, right?
I mean, yeah.
You can see
the
how it used to be
game's
compared to how it
IP
goes.
up.
Okay, perfect. No, but that's awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing that in game.
Yeah, just seeing you get crushed by the giant horde that forms and
Yeah.
multiple of your units with those horses. Good.
So hopefully, which is a really insane goal that I'm putting on myself, I'm trying to finish the model before this Sarhal update.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I don't think that's gonna happen, to be honest. I don't. It's an impossible task.
Have dreams.
Yeah. I mean,
I
it
would
looked
lo-
good
I
like
would-
a month ago.
I'm rooting for you. And I might even play Centaurs. I might be convinced.
Yeah, that's the only reason I'm actually creating, so people actually play in Forbidden Plains. It should be deleted, by the way. I don't like that.
You are making the models for a place that you would see deleted. That's just peak. That's peak.
I mean, you know, content is content.
Sure. Did you also make the Haraf worm as well?
Yes, that is correct. The Haraf worms were just as the White Walls of Castanor. They're actually created for the guide writing purposes because I needed to understand how to animate map objects and also how to add particles to them. So I just thought, wait, there are giant worms in Haraf. I'm just gonna make them jump.
That's kind of
And it
cool.
works.
I like it. I don't know
If
if
one
they
shows up right
show
now.
it. I don't think they show up when we're in the lobby. I haven't seen one.
I don't think they do, yeah.
That's sad.
They jump randomly around like 20 to 30 seconds each. Something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah,
My-
but everyone loves those goddamn worms.
They are so cute, and they will eat you whole if you take one step into Haraf
That's the
Desert.
one's kink out there.
Yeah, there's some up in the north as well. They used to be. I think they're not there yet. So yeah, you're making centaurs. You've made the worm. You made the walls of Castanor. What other things have you done as well then? Because it's clearly not enough. No, that's just like an overview of the things you've made. Because there's a lot of things in the mod that just look awesome, and I'm just to highlight some stuff.
It's really hard to remember because I had like a big pause. Lately, I created the model for a Wiki free mod, which is you cannot show right now.
I'd have to install Wiki 3.
Yeah, it's not even in the game yet. I just finished the model like 4 days ago. It's for the Isobeli city. I also created some like smaller 2D assets, and as for 3D, I really cannot remember what else I added. I don't think I did that much, to be honest. Like I just sit on my ass all day and stare at centaurs.
Were the gnolls you're doing, or were they?
The gnolls were Alexius. I only reviewed
Okay.
them. Alexius just came said that he wants to create gnolls. I said okay, and he just finished them pretty quickly, which makes me look bad. I'm not gonna lie.
No, it makes you're the project manager. You take on the higher level role, so it makes you look good.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's
You also claim their achievements as your own. There
Exactly.
We go.
No,
That's
I
the
would
job
never
of
do
project
that.
manager.
I think also for the 3D stuff I made, the past like a month because of the DevClash. I haven't been too productive because of the whole adding stuff every session for Nekorin, the unit
Naturally.
models, the animations that I made for the second session. The third one I didn't do anything because I think I had exams. And for this one, I would love to show it right now, but it's just the Deldush is not yet here.
Hopefully we'll maybe get it next week then.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah,
Be nice to
hope
see
so.
you on stream.
And you're also reviewing the Heroes Gate out here as well.
Yeah, I mean, as a writer reviewer and the only person who actively is a 3D guy in the team, in the art reviewers, everything that is 3D just goes under my what is it called? Under my wings, and I just try to push them in the right direction. The Heroes Gate is just started like yesterday, I think.
Okay.
The guy just came into the channel, said that he wants to do it, so I set everything up for him.
No, I'm looking forward to seeing that as well. Especially, I like me some dwarves, and obviously more 3D assets. It's another thing that it's wild to me how much more effort it's going to be for future Paradox games, with the implementation of just way more 3D stuff. And so you said you were working on stuff for Vicky 3 as well. Are you working on like the character models? Is that something that's in your wheelhouse?
I could do that, but I don't play CK3 or Vicky 3. I only did the Vicky 3 model as a commission. I don't even own the game, which is very funny. So I don't know if it will actually work in game. So I'll have to do probably some fixes.
Okay.
As for the character models, I think that it's actually gonna be a bit less work as well.
Oh, really?
Because the tools we have for EU4 and all of the limitations that there are here might actually be worse for us.
Okay. That's something that I've felt for a while, is that it would be more difficult, but hearing an artist say that it would be less work is
It might be actually like the same amount of work.
okay. I suppose the tools do certainly help quite a lot then.
Yeah.
All right, cool. That is good to know. But yeah, is there anything that you want to like shout out or tell people to go and look at, tell them to go and do?
I mean, of course, I'm gonna shout out the art team again.
Naturally, yeah. No,
If you like feel like creating anything, and you at least have the interest in it, I think that's enough. You can just come in, join us. We really need people, please. I think that's it. I don't even play the mod, so I don't know what I could shout out. The rendering is cool. The rendering is pretty cool.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that.
And
For
of
sure.
course, this Sarhal release will be amazing. Anybody who says that it's not is probably right. Anyways,
All right.
I'm
well,
just joking.
I think it's going to be
Yeah.
phenomenal. But yeah, thank you very much for coming to chat with us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you
Yeah,
for having me.
ceremoniously kicking you out soon. There we go.
No, yeah. It's certainly interesting hearing that he thinks it's going to be less work or the same amount of work as before, because a lot of the talk that I've heard about, CK3 and then Vic 3 after it, was that it would be, the rate of mods or the rate of modding in general would be much slower because of it.
I mean, on the 3D side, that would be like the rate of modding will be the same. There will be more things that have to be done before the mod can like properly release without placeholders.
Yeah.
Because for the, EU4 you can just have like a random unit model, which actually it's kind of the same situation. If you had like a pop, which is a kobold, and then in EU4 you have a unit model for kobolds, which are just a person, a guy, then it's like kind of the same situation. Maybe it's more immersion breaking because it's supposed to be the pop, and you don't really look at unit models, to be honest.
I suppose I just have an elevated idea of how much more difficult 3D stuff is than 2D. but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. I've done Maya before when I was in my undergrad. It's hard as balls, so Carwin, you get my respect for actually having a skill in 3D modeling. Right there.
I would say that creating a template, because that's what CK3 and Wiki3 is using. They're like templates that are being changed to create the characters. So creating a single template is probably the same amount of time spent in 3D, if you're at least a bit skilled enough, as creating a whole set of advisor portraits for a race.
Okay.
I would say it's about the same amount of work. So it might actually be less. It's really hard to like put into numbers how long it will take for each of it, because it's very case by case, of course, and depending on the person. I think that the change will be that there will be more need for 3D people for modding, and there are less people who are 3D inclined than 2D inclined. So modding might actually take longer.
Okay. Well, we're back in game. We'll let you go then. Hopefully we get to see the Crimson Deluge, but if not, then certainly we'll be looking out for it next week. But yeah, it's been a pleasure.
Worship Corin.
Yeah, Corin, yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna kick myself out. Have a good one.
Yeah, have a good one.
You're not going to give me the satisfaction of kicking you out?
Apparently not. Apparently not. Yeah, no. We'll say, like, especially the White Walls of Casnora being this, it's so visible, right?
Yeah.
You can see it wherever you are on the map and you're looking over. It's something that draws the eye, that makes you think, oh, what's this over here? I'm going to now go and have a look at this area and look at the tags in the area and have more interest, really, in what I'm seeing. I think that's really important. And that's certainly something that could be done elsewhere, like seeing these important buildings or important like constructions would draw the eye there and get people more interested in the region. I mean, obviously Escan is pretty interesting regardless, but you know, every little helps.
I want to say though that that it depends how zoomed out you are, because there is a
True.
If you're on the country level, you can't see it at all. But if you try and zoom it to the lowest part of the country level, you can see it with the country tag name. I just find that a bit interesting, but then you zoom inwards, it just goes to province view. So, yeah.
But yeah, like I'm trying to think of like other like landmarks that could be added. Of course, like the entire Serpent Spine itself, like that mountain range, just acts as the same kind of deal. It's something unique and interesting that draws the eye and makes you interested in the region. Maybe that's what the Forbidden Plains is missing. It needs some.
Forbidden Plains.
Yeah, I don't know, a giant statue of a centaur just in the middle of the map.
I see what is missing is the Magma Harma having visual representation, because it's literally like a floating city that has literally crashed to ground. So it kind of should remind you a little bit of Dalran.
Okay.
I mean, at least in my opinion, it should. That's what it should be.
Yeah, I mean, I'm up for seeing stuff like that.
Oh,
Cargrin's talking in chat. He could do that. Love it. Love it.
Do which one?
All
Which
of
one?
them. All of them.
All of them.
A giant statue of a centaur in the middle of the map. And ogres.
Where would the statue be? Like, where do you think? Is it going to be in just like the little province that leads to the oasis?
Straddling the river.
Yes, straddling the river. So it's like the Lord of the Rings. There's two statues that lead to Arnor. I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it Arnor? Yeah, I think it's Arnor.
There is.
The River Arnor.
I think that one's just called the Great River. I don't remember for sure, but the I do know that the Lord of the Rings mod does actually have models for the two big statues, which is really cool.
Definitely makes it a bit more immersive then.
It does. So like, I mean, if you look at the monument map mode, there's things like the Alakander Great Citadel Castle, Kalasander Castle thing. these could all have, eventually, over time, models added just to draw the eye there, to make them,
Yeah. Like
visually
the glyphs
unique.
of Iridos in the Forbidden Plains. What the hell is this? Just looking at the monument map mode in the Forbidden Plains, like, what is this centaur thing? Like, what is it supposed to represent?
I don't know, but it's cool.
Yeah, it's fucking cool.
Oh, giving the centaurs movement speed. That's... Yeah, okay, cool. That's so necessary.
No, okay, right. As owner religion, must be Eudonomi or the centaur religion group. So you just have to have the centaur religion group to have that benefit.
It has the Great Project actually has a description as well. Geoglyphs are a practice of common among centaur kind. They believe Eriades looks down upon Halan from the sky and is pleased by the veneration of him, as well as the physical exertion, will, and perseverance required to dig them. I suppose if you are a centaur, digging something of that scale is indeed very impressive.
Hard, yeah. I mean, like, just imagine have you ever really seen a horse dig? It's really arduous for them. It exhausts them straight out.
I will take your word for that one, I'm afraid. No idea.
Yeah, God.
The Zestirmark War seems to be over.
Zestirmark has lost, I presume?
Well, Mix does not have the province that they wanted.
What?
Zestirmark didn't lose anything.
Why did they have the war in the first place, then?
I don't rightly know.
Jesus Christ. Well, I guess all's well that ends well until the next war where they just get absolutely fucked. Maybe it's the succession rules, was it?
I'm not sure.
It
But yeah,
might be
Mix was colonizing the island. Then Zestirmark took it, and yeah, they get to keep it, I guess.
Well, did Zestirmark lose any alliances?
No, they didn't lose anything. What is their length of truce, I wonder?
Maybe it's just directly 5
24.
years.
It might just be a 5-year truce, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's slightly more than a 5-year truce. So they may have just taken some ducats or something along those lines. I don't know.
Yeah, just pay to have that land.
Yeah.
It's just like sell promises, except they actually had to have a little bit of bloodshed.
Naturally.
Yeah, naturally. Also, I didn't realize that hyena there was actually a hyena model in the game as well. I forgot about that.
Oh, there is? Where do we see that one?
I'm seeing it in the Seven Stone Trolls. Yeah, there's that hyena model. It's just right there.
Oh! Oh, wow. Yeah, no, okay. I didn't realize that was a thing.
Yeah,
that's lovely.
I must have seen it before, but it's just somehow it's more striking before now.
I don't know if that's a hyena. That's a warg right there. That's huge.
A hyena warg, if there's ever such a thing.
But yeah, armored hyena riders. That's kind of dope.
Yep.
I like it.
God, what other mounts do you think other races in this setting would ride? Like,
I
still think orcs ride wolves or wargs. So.
Hey, if the world is put right and Anbennar does implement drow, yeah, in maybe the mountains north of the command.
If it's spiders, you want
spiders. We could have spiders. We could also have lizards. Drow ride lizards a lot. Giant spiders, also very tempted to say giant spiders, but imagine the animation budget.
Spiders.
The amount of talent required to animate 8 legs is I feel like it's up there.
What if its spider just decides to only use 2 of the legs and the others are just there, just flapping around?
I suppose that could work. But yeah, goblins riding giant spiders. Obviously, we've got Spider Wretch.
Yeah.
And dwarves riding rams.
Yeah, dwarf rams.
I'm also kind of thinking of like, the if you know Warhammer, the Khorne Juggernaut, like a late game dwarven cavalry. Like that would be kind of dope.
That would actually be impressive, honestly, and probably more durable, right?
Kobolds riding giant lizards, yeah, definitely.
Hmm.
Sun elves riding flying carpets. I mean, it does make sense because of the fact that it's actually in the game now. They're called Zamukarash, which is
Although
cool.
I would say that elves is generally ride unicorns. Or any sort of horse.
Maybe Sarenvar elves. I'm not sure Sun elves really make sense for that.
Sun elves are just gonna ride the humans they own, so they're just piggybacking.
Depending on how high your chosen roll is, it depends on what mount you're riding. It starts off with
So
just
if you're
humans
level
piggybacking.
5 chosen, you just get to ride a human, but if you're only level 1 chosen, the human rides you. I don't know.
Exactly. But yeah, no, that could certainly work. That'd be cool. But yeah, what other like on map monuments? Because obviously, like you could just look at the monument map mode and be like, okay, so Tianlu has a monument for the Palace of the Divine Call. So maybe that could be a model.
I mean, technically, there is a on map thing for that, but it's just the default thing, which is there's not. I thought there was a model for having towers to represent the what they call the temple complexes, but apparently not.
I'm not sure, but
there's a monument for the center of the city of Saracen.
Yes,
It's interesting, I say.
Yeah.
You only need to activate it by owning all the cities.
Kind of hard to say. Is that the barrel and stuff there? But it's kind of hard to see much beneath the. It's all so crammed in a small province.
Yeah, unfortunate. But it happens.
Speaking of Sarasung, they are actually owned by the commander who is being murdered by Dahui. About time someone took on this command.
I think it's like the Elephant Riders were also fighting them. They were just double teaming the command because the command overextended in South Halus.
Speaking of Dugajir, they're up to 50% cav combat ability right now.
50%.
And 95 cav ratio.
Yeah, they also have the tribal government that the Kayunyus have.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got that. Just for Elephant Riders. I need to.
In this general, get 15% extra cav combat ability naturally, and get 6 cavalry for free.
6 cavalry for free. It's amazing.
Yeah. Funny enough, like they still have 21 infantry for some reason.
Assaults.
Okay, that is the reason. That counts.
I mean, it's the only reason I can think of. Like, what else are you going to use infantry for except for sieging?
Yinniks ride antler horses. I believe they're called deer. But yes. Oh, and Haraf rides worms.
Oh, yeah, that would be an interesting one, but then you'd have to compensate for the fact that when the worm goes underground, the rider is going to go splat into the ground dead. So
they. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, fair enough. I don't have an answer. Yeah.
Oh God. Erdan. No, sorry. The Yinnik. The Yinnik people. They ride moose, I think. Or
apparently they're literally called antler horses.
Yeah, they're antler horses, right? That was what I was thinking. I was thinking. It looks like a horse, and it's got an antler. What does that come to? Moose. There we go.
Yinniks held antler horses as the most sacred of animals. Is this just a They call them antler horses, but they are literally just moose.
I think they are actually antler horses, but don't know.
Well,
Honestly, I could.
it's Ruinborn. Like they probably went all mad from the destroyed
Yeah, the
city
magic
magic
radiation.
thing. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
horses with antlers. Mate, fair enough. Fair enough.
I'm just trying to think, what would the blue people ride? I'm just going to call them blue people because I can't be arsing Aonai or whatever it is.
Um,
Aoni.
something blue probably.
Something blue, right? I'm going to make up some lore and
Oh,
say what they
they ride
ride.
chariots.
Oh, they ride chariots, but what's blue in the chariot? I say it's an octopus that walks on land. And it's blue. There we go.
Sounds great.
Totally canonical.
I'm reading the chariots like flavor text to see if I can see what they're riding.
Hmm.
It just says horseback.
I guess
Let's just say they're blue horses.
Yeah, blue horses right there, of course. Oh yeah, there's another interesting thing inside Alentir that they ride. Like the tribe, the Kairong tribe or the Dursayar. Yeah, those small tribes of tribal land.
Yeah.
What they ride is cat.
Fair enough.
They literally ride feline mounts.
We could go and look to get Sorseres to come and chat with us about the yin, and then we can ask someone directly about what these people ride.
Yeah, let's talk to Sorseres then.
Yeah, let's go and grab him.
See what he's. All right, wherever he is, we probably have to ask for permission first.
Yeah, no, we can't just drag someone.
Middle conversation.
Yeah.
Middle conversation slagging us off, and then just gets brought in here, and he continues what he's saying.
These guys not even knowing that it's actually horses.
Yeah. Don't know all the intricacies about mounts. Then what are the harpy mounts then, actually? Think about that.
Bigger harpies.
Yeah, bigger harpies, right?
Yeah, when in doubt, just default to just a bigger version of what they're already riding. What they already are.
Yeah, unfortunately, don't have any cavalry units, so we can't really say that. Oh yeah, trolls ride mammoths.
Oh hell yeah! I'm totally down for that.
Yeah, and ogres ride nothing. They're just the cavalry ogres are just slightly faster ogres. That's what they are.
Harpies are the cavalry. That's true.
Yeah, I actually don't remember. Like, did the harpy military end up getting going through forts without being stopped by them? That modifier that got added last.
I don't know, but harpies actually don't have the ability to hire cavalry, so yeah. That makes sense. But yeah, do they have that modifier? I don't know where you would even be able to see that.
Well, I mean, I'm fairly sure you just get it's like a national idea thing in the base game, so it might not be available like as a ordinary modifier. But that being said, I don't know why it wouldn't be. But I don't see it in the harpy military, so yeah, no skipping over forts as they should.
It would be fun, but only if you were the harpy. For literally anyone else, like I would hate to fight against that.
That's probably why it's not.
I would say that like the saving grace of it is there aren't many harpy tags in the world, and the harpy tags that are in the world generally don't live long if you are not them.
Yeah.
So you're never really going to be in a situation where, like, you are screwed over by a harpy passing by your forts. Because you're generally not going to be fighting them all that much. They should totally have it.
Should totally be fine with skipping over forts.
Yeah. I'm down for that.
There is one race in this mod that I feel like is kind of wasted on just being in one nation, and that's the command. Like the hobgoblins.
I would like to see more hobgoblin.
Yeah, 'cause, like, basically every time I create a custom nation, I try and put it into SCAN. I think, right, let's make them hobgoblins and call it the FAR command because I feel like that's fun.
Why
Because
not?
there's literally, yeah. But I would say like maybe just having hobgoblins be somewhere else, like say if there was a Wuxia hobgoblin. I mean, there's already precedent or having other races in the Raj because they added kobolds into it. There's precedent right there.
Definitely, like the Zia like taking in some of the hobgoblins and like I don't know, somewhat civilizing an element of them in the north, and having that be one of the Zayakin would yeah, I definitely see that as
Yeah,
something that could
I
fit in and be
feel like
lore
it would be
friendly.
fun.
I do know there is hobgoblins that move down to I think it's
A lot
Laknam
of the
Amrik.
gangs, I don't, it's like which province was it? I think it might have been Karon Sakar. I think.
I think
Like
it's
directly south
Laknam
of
Amrik, but yeah, it's
that's
somewhere
the
around
capital.
there.
Yeah. It's I mean basically the only provinces there that actually culture convert are the ones surrounding the city because
Oh,
they
okay.
depopulate the city of the population. Oh, here we go. We've got Sorseres.
Hello, hello. So, Sorseres, before we get into it, who are you playing? What is your role within Anbennar?
My role? Well, I'm playing Brelar, which is funny Republic tag in Northern Inn. Definitely not a very bugged mission tree. It's definitely not like I definitely didn't PR it specifically so that it could be in like one day before the DevClash started. I
Fair.
would never.
So you're basically saying it has not passed reviewing.
No,
it's
it's
past
perfect.
reviewing.
Or balance
was-
check, sorry.
Balance checks
check.
it passed. But then people played it, and I got like a review from the Chinese community that was like, you know, very, very well formatted and written. And one of its comments was, "This mission tree is the most tormentful mission tree in all of Anbennar ever."
That's
Okay.
high praise. Did they play a Mayan?
I don't think they meant it in a good way. I've
I don't
since
know, I'm
buffed
taking
it.
good.
And it's stronger now. Like, I mean, I always thought it was fine, which is kind of, I don't know.
Yeah.
But then I'm also a lot more experienced of playing in the inn than most players are, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say so. It's
Generally, my role in Anbennar's development is I am inn lead, kind of. Labstein is the region lead, and I do answer to him. But largely, I've led Innic development since Amanda left.
okay.
Yeah.
So how long has that been since Amanda left? Because I see she is your overlord in game, at least in the
Yes.
inn.
Well, she does not. Well, she's technically developing for Anbennar for Obsidian Legion because of a joke I made with her. So, you know, she's stuck on Obsidian Legion development. I have promised to make the province map for her mod.
I like that a
Yeah,
lot.
her mod.
I've
I
been-
believe what was it called? Hang on, Defiance of Rotalon. I think is her
Yes.
mod name.
Listen, you just refer it as Beaver mod, and everyone will
Beaver
know.
mod. Yeah, okay, fair enough. That's
Fair.
why the Discord server is a beaver. Yeah, okay.
I mean, that's the defining feature. Everyone joins. They're like, you know, there's a whole world, and everyone is like, okay, but where Beaver?
No, that's exciting. I've been looking forward to, or I've been wanting some content for the Obsidian Dwarves since I first got surprised by the Obsidian
Since
Legion.
you first found a funny calcite layer.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly it. Yeah.
Yeah, before the Republic got revamped as have the base absolutism just be integrated into Republic form. They were this Republic that would just give you absolutism, and it was always desirable to play as them. Honestly.
That's had really good ideas. But
Yeah.
yes, to go back onto the yin and your role, you are content reviewer then for the yin. You're not the yin
I'm-
lead.
No, well, largely I do most of the Innic reviewing.
Right.
So Labstein will hop in once I've done reviews and, you know, fine tune stuff and approve it finally.
Yeah.
To go into content review. and I do content reviews, but I don't content review in the inn because that would be, you know, me doing 2 reviews. I can do it.
Mhm.
I think we technically did it for Bosankovac, because that went through me and Labstein, and since we're both content reviewers, it was like, you know, this does not need a content review. That seems a bit stupid.
Right.
But otherwise, I do content reviews, you know, across other regions. I'm doing one in South Elantir, one in Rahen, and or wait, was it? Is it? Yeah, one in Rahen. Well, I guess I finished that one because Buvauri is largely approved by content.
Uh-huh.
I need Edward to do some final fixes, and one in Yanshen.
What's the process like for making stuff for the inn that might be different from other regions? Because it's very much out there and not. It's not like a player's first pick, let's say.
I think the main difference is it's very difficult to make conquest missions because you're going to be taking Yosahar generally, and that means you have, you know, a lot of it becomes very formulaic. Take this one, you know, take this one area.
Yeah.
Either the, you know, the tag that generally owns the area is your Yosahar, or you own the area. Tends to be how it goes, and that's something I've been trying to fix because content reviewer, long before I became a content reviewer, when I first sort of took over as the main regional reviewer for the inn, I got, you know, talk from content reviewer who spoke to me about this and said that most of them seem to have the same issue with conquest missions, where it's just the same area, or just take one Yosahar per mission.
Right.
So we've been trying to fix that and make conquest missions more dynamic. Brelar doesn't really, I mean, it kind of does that in some cases. I've tried to fix it a bit. There's a couple missions that do suffer from it, though, unfortunately.
I mean, having a couple of missions in a mission tree be conquest related isn't the worst thing in the world.
It's not that it's conquest related, it's that it's, you know, very plain and simple. Hello, here's an area. Take the area.
Right. All right. Okay. So what do you do instead then to avoid that issue?
Well, if I look at missions, I could speak about it, but I can't because we have a hobby. Generally,
Damn it,
like
Scoresby.
generally simple things tend to be quite enough. So, you know, develop up the area, build a certain building there, because it mostly it's a matter of creating some flavor as to why you're conquering it and what you're doing to integrate it or to make the vassal loyal. Because it's also a thing that when you take an Yosahar, you're going to be a disloyal bastard. And the change we did was disloyal Yosahar no longer give authority. So you have to keep them loyal. And this was done because before you could just conquer the entire inn, and due to Paradox AI, they never revolt.
Yeah.
Eosahar is the name for vassals in the inn.
Yes.
Yeah, just
special subject type that has increased force limit and pays less income.
Okay.
But they also don't take Diplo slots, and they measure their limited desire, you know, as themselves individually and their allies, not as the whole vassal chain against their overlord.
All right, cool. Just you kept saying Eosahar, and I was like, hang on a minute. Okay, that's what that is. Fair.
I
Yes.
pronounce it Ayashatar. I'm sorry.
Yes, I know. Yeah, I've watched your streams, Findeath. It annoys me, but, you know, everyone mispronounces inn names.
Everyone mispronounces everything. I remember giving Wagensu a bit of a giggle about how I pronounced Orgelhovar. That's probably still wrong, but yeah.
I mean, I don't know if Wag pronounces it entirely correctly either, but then, you know, he's the dev, he's allowed to mispronounce it.
See, I get around it by just saying that I pronounce everything perfectly first time, and you come at me. And that seems to work.
Whatever I say is going to become the official name now.
Yeah.
That's just how it works.
Yeah, that's why it's still Celadora.
Yeah.
I'll die on this hill. All right, so you're playing Brelar. Did you make the mission tree for Brelar then?
Yes, I did make the mission tree for Brelar. It was a cooperative thing, because originally I wasn't going to. For a while at least, I wanted to make the Kelmaldor mission tree, but then that was taken for a long time, so I moved to work on the inn. This was like over a year ago.
Okay.
And then Pivel, who's a fellow North Island reviewer who's currently substitute playing for Leptone, wanted to make a Brelar mission tree, and I at the time had expressed a lot of interest in Brelar, and he asked me for advice, and we both concluded that the tree kind of needs a Malaknar situation where you have the option to either go your own way or to form the Unic Empire, which Malaknar.
Yeah, I always appreciate that because sometimes I want to go to the Unic, or sometimes I want to be a Battle King, because that's pretty awesome too. So it's just depending on what you feel.
So Brelar can either reform the Unic Empire as a more republican institution, but still with dynastic rule, because that's one of the main things of Eosahars, is that you're swearing fealty to a dynasty, which is why the Inn despises republics, because they feel like it's flimsy rule, because every 4 years you're swearing your sacred oath to a new guy.
Makes sense. So that's sort of the flavor then of the inn, is that very dynasty focused then. So Braillard definitely doesn't fit in with that kind of concept.
Yes.
How
originally the reason for this is Brelar is ancient. Before the legendary founder of Lukausta, the original Innic kingdom, came to the inn from the Kingdom of the Mountain, which was basically precursor Volt. Before that, Brelar was already a thing. There was a republic in the mountains, Versargan and Brelar, that was, tribal, as far as I know, and, probably quite primitive, but, they were there. They had a clear institution of, we elect our leaders among our elders, and they then elect an actual, representative of the full government, and that was how it worked.
I'm getting quite heavy Venice vibes from this. Being a republic underneath the empire, underneath the Roman Empire. Was that any kind of inspiration, or just?
Was it Venice? I thought that was San Marino, or what was the
other
one?
They both fit really for it.
Yeah, Monaco.
It's entirely possible due to the fact that the Innic Empire is very Roman-inspired.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, I just want to interrupt. I'm sorry, but can I ask what you're doing with these rebels in your land and not fighting them?
Yeah. Well, you know what I said about my mission tree definitely working and not being bugged. Actually, this is technically my mission tree. There's a thing where Innic Eosahars do not get the modifiers of they don't count as having done the reforms of their overlord, which should be the case because they have done, they have the religious reform of their overlord enforced on them.
Okay.
And because of this, a lot of triggers for my missions don't work. But my mission tree is designed so that I can be any religion. So if I switch out of inner worship, that's not a problem. Therefore, funny dragon cult religion.
Why not?
Dragon cult republic. Yep, that sounds like it.
I appreciate
in my mission tree, I do make a dragon cult republic. I can't do it this game because Alexis is in the way. But normally, you make Droshmas Rakat, the Dragon Republic.
Dragon Republic. Oh, that sounds great. You're not gonna have a Dragon King on top where they're just ceremonial purely, and the Republic has the power. That's not what it was.
You have the speaker of the council, because Gospod, which is the title of the Dragon Dominion's ruler, is basically speaker. Normally they're the speaker for the dragon, so the voice of the dragon. But in the case of this Republic Brelar makes, they are the voice of the council. And the council is the dragon's council. So ceremonially, the dragon is in charge.
Look, I appreciate dragons, clearly, obviously. So I'm totally sold by this right now. Definitely.
And when we get Droshmatur mechanics done, It will actually be interesting. Copium.
I will then wait until that is done, and then I think I'll give Braylar a spin. Why not?
Yeah, enjoy the most tormentful mission in Anbennar ever.
So how with what the game is going at the moment, you are a I'm gonna butcher the pronunciation. Aorsh. Hang on, what's it called again?
I'm just gonna make up a new word.
Iosahar. All right,
I mean,
Iosahar.
you can say Oathkeeper, because that's what it means.
You are an oath
Yeah,
keeper
that's
of the
boring.
Yinnick Empire, but the
Yeah.
game in 1444 doesn't start with this situation. Like there isn't a
No.
Yinnick Empire, there isn't a massive vassal swarm situation. So how do you make a mission tree that wants to direct you to being a vassal of another country?
It's not directed, it's just made so that you can be a vassal.
Okay.
Because, well, Brellar remained a republic under the Yinnick Empire. Because, they're still a republic.
Yeah.
They've been since, 100 after Ash or something. And they're still now. So my conclusion with that was basically it shouldn't limit them. You should be able to. You can't. If you choose to do your Yinnick Empire path, you obviously get locked.
Yeah.
Because you can't. You'd have to dismantle the other Yinnick Empire before you can form your Yinnick Empire. But if you want to do the Republic path, you can do it as a subject, and then, you just have to make sure things work. It can get there's a bit of jank in it, but I'm sort of working on that. And then you can do a funny co-op run if you want, I guess. Because I think co-op runs are neat.
Yeah, I
Runs
mean
are neat.
the mod has some already, and definitely having more in unique areas is I'm down for that.
Yeah, I think there's several co-op nations currently in, like Moonhaven and the other one, Istrelor.
Istrelor and Moonhaven.
Yeah, and then there's the
Kugdir
other one
and Hammerhome, Zegdir and Azka Sur.
Yes.
There's one in Bulwar. Yeah, that you said it. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm completely blanked on that.
So, what nations would you work really then for the co-op in the Inn? Is it Braylar and like Averin would work well together then, or could you do others?
I think Brellar and Arverin are fine. You have to do a bit of because Arverin takes provinces as mission rewards that you have to give back because they take the dams, which Brellar needs.
Yeah.
So it's not entirely functional, but other than that, it's entirely doable. Obviously, they weren't designed to be compatible. I think some other tag like maybe Stanir Rada might be more functional as a co-op. Or then maybe one of the southern republics like Velstomfan or Tromshana, which aren't alive in this game. But Velstomfan and Tromshana are also republics, which gives them some connection. And, well, Velsbakar becomes a republic through their mission tree. Or should.
Yeah, well, why are we paused?
Probably somebody lagging behind, I would imagine.
Soren was lagging behind.
Enrico Dandolo is a month behind.
Yeah, the doors of Venice slowing us down.
Yeah, tell them, player, lagging the whole lobby. OPM.
Tell him to speed up. But all right, yeah. So there is interesting things happening in the inn. Is there more to come? Are there other? Do you plan on giving all of the tags in the region some mission trees, or are there any that are on the horizon?
Bosankovac is in coding, as far as I know. There's among the settlers, Shining Circle or Bagaston is also in coding. Other than that, Mokvare is going very far in development. Velsbakar was. It's been stalling for a while. Velsfadhekai also was stalling for a while, but recently we've got a new draft, so ours can hopefully get back to working on that or reviewing it. Jellicow is developing it, who was the Nusher player in this lobby.
Yeah.
There's probably a fair few more that I don't remember because there's a lot of work being done at the moment. Currently already coded for the next update. I finished working on the Amachim's mission tree, which is designed by Amanda, but I've coded it.
Okay.
And I've made a bunch of content for it that Amanda didn't really specify. So, for example, there's a whole jousting mechanic that you can do where you host grand jousts, and I made a rock, paper, scissors kind of event chain for you jousting people.
Nice. What is it?
And other than that, there's free marches, which is another spawnable. They're half orcs. They are in the cursed forest.
Yeah, they go in the cursed ones forest. There we go. Those freaky deaky looking guys in the north, right there.
I don't know if free marches will spawn this game because they require somebody with orcish slavery to own a bunch of provinces in Dallaire, which I don't know if we have. I can't see Dallaire.
Well, there's nothing in Dallaire right now, so there's the Maria, I guess. If that.
Well, they don't count, I think, because it has to be a colonial nation.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No colonies there. You might have to ask Orbitrol to lend a hand there.
I mean, I don't think I need free marches. It's just then I get land I don't have to colonize.
It might still happen.
Might still happen.
What is the difference in process then if for making a mission tree that is, you're coming up with the design and the coding versus when somebody else makes the design and then you do the coding? Like, what's is there any difficulties with that?
I don't think. I mean, in some cases, definitely. I think a lot of the time it will require like a lot of cooperation between the coder and the designer. For example, Gemradkurt, which is a big mission tree that was added for this update, it was coded by Matti, the Moonhaven player, and designed by Takasaki, who is not playing, I think. But they've done Gemradkurt and Sayadan and such. And then I remember looking at that thread, and there was a lot of communication because Matti needed clarification on a lot of the stuff he was doing. In my case, Amachimst is very straightforward and simple, and I also understand mechanics pretty well and what Amanda wanted from them. Sort of a third of it she had already coded, notably. I'm not going to comment on Amanda's code. We don't talk about it.
Well, she's in my chat, so.
Oh no.
Her reply was, "Wow, buddy."
I didn't say anything.
No, nothing bad at least. Nothing too bad.
No. I have the right to remain silent.
And there we go. Yeah. Just communication really is the big thing then.
Yes, because I think that's a big thing in mission design, tree design in general. I think it's not just about if you have somebody else coding for you. I think it matters a lot for reviewing as well.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot easier to do reviews when I have spoken to people and I understand what they want from their content. Sometimes it means it gets a lot more complicated because I realize they can do a lot more fancy stuff and more interesting stuff. So for Bouvauri it took a long time because I kept telling Edward to challenge himself and, and describe mechanics to him that he could be using, which made more work for him and more work for me. But I think Bouvauri went really well when we actually got to a conclusion we both agreed on.
I think Bavaria is a tag that would deserve that level of extra mile as well.
Yes, yeah. It very much is a tag that needs sort of a lot of interesting content because it's a massive tag. I mean, Bouvauri is one of the funny game enders of Hales.
Oh yeah. No, definitely know that one.
Unless it's a great or mythic conqueror, in which case they get smushed into the ground by the Raj.
Or the command.
I mean, yeah, that tends to happen. But if you don't
Yep.
play with Mythic Conqueror, then suddenly infinite money tends to win out.
True.
It's also an issue of designing their mission tree, because you have to account for the fact that this tag does not have economic problems.
Yeah, you have to probably do something where it has to have something very specific done that AI can't really do.
I mean, basically they're gonna start with not being able to hire mercs.
Oh, God,
Oh, I
that's
like
brutal.
that. No, that's great.
The lore explanation, I mean,
Yeah.
maybe I'm not the best person to do Rahan lore, but I did the content review for this, so I'm quite invested and knowledgeable, I think. But basically, the lore explanation is Buvauri is a slave revolt as a nation. It's sort of a loose. It's not so much a tag as it is 3 families who have taken the political reins of a slave revolt and are maintaining power through the use of slave soldiers in their army.
Yeah, a la Mamluks with the main
And yes, and basically the entirety of Rahen doesn't recognize them as a real state.
I mean, why would you? They're upstarts.
Yes, and thereby, you can't hire mercs. You're not a real country.
I like that explanation. Oh, that works for me.
Can I just ask, like, is the dragon still in hiding in the Buravari? Like, wasn't she part of this whole original slave revolt thing, or is that old lore?
The Lady of Brass Bangles is one of the 3 leaders of the slave revolt,
Right,
along with Abazima Sky Eyes and Bulwari guy whose name I don't remember. But the Bulwari guy is the guy who ends up taking control afterwards, because the Lady of Brass Bangles leads the revolt and then leaves, and Abazima Sky Eyes gets into a huge political conflict with the other slave revolt leader, and they both conclude they can't defeat the other one. So basically Abazima goes to Sarhal with slaves, and they go back to their homes. Some of them, however, don't get welcome back because they're a bit too radical. They don't like the fact that people are just doing slavery in their homes because they've been slaves. They don't vibe with it. So they head off with Abazima again, and they go to Madriamilak, which is one of the new Sarhali regions, where they do a huge slave crusade for about 50 years.
Alright, so do they appear as a tag in 1444, or?
No. I mean, my wish is for them to sort of either be rebels that could potentially spawn a tag, or then just be represented as the region of eastern Madriamilak by the coast is really sort of highly autonomous, because the lords are trying to take back control over the region from having it be controlled by the slave revolt for a long time, because it established an actual nation there.
Feels like that concept there kind of reminds me of the whole Unsullied from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I do get that vibe. I was going to say that. If you'd have said a different thing, I'd have been like, or the Unsullied. But, no, definitely getting that vibe.
Yeah, absolutely. Now you just need to have one person who writes dragons lead them. There you go.
Speaking of dragons, I want to talk about dragons for a second, because I don't know if you noticed, I kind of like dragons. All right.
Yes. I do have one of the dragons in my region. So
yes.
Technically, I should be an expert.
How many dragons are there in Anbennar? Because I've heard 3 as a number, but I don't know how true that is. Or if that's old.
Do you mean alive or what?
Yeah, alive. I mean, there was the age of dragons before the game, of course, but like in Anbennar as it stands right now, if all the stars align for the various tags that have dragons in them, how many dragons are there in the game?
So, I mean, the known ones very much are Barlengild, who is not a great dragon. He's not the.
All dragons are great.
Dragon.
No, don't be dragon shaming here.
Okay. He's a great dragon. We love Barlengild. He's a good guy. He's a wholesome guy. He wants to help his people. He's a chill lad. Don't ask Corrensfielders what he did to them.
They're not real people. Don't worry about them.
Yeah, no.
So true. Don't ask what his father did to the people of Anbennar either.
Not a problem.
Yes. Basically, but he's one of the most, he's openly a dragon. There is Arket in Sarhal, who has
Oh, yeah.
a religion about him now, as part of the Ketist faith group.
Yeah. How are there so many religions in the Ket group now? This is unnatural to me.
No, do you want to know the reason?
I'm always down to know more.
Okay, so, Aurus sits down, he's like, I'm gonna make a fantasy system for the mandate. You're gonna get this really cool estate called the Ahati. You can recruit, what were they called? Janissary units.
Uh-huh.
Makes sense.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Cool stuff. He looks at the code, he's like, yes, Paradox says, you can recruit these from, because in base game they are different, only in different religion provinces.
Uh-huh.
And he looks at it and goes, yeah, Paradox says you can do it in the same religion. Paradox lied.
So we have to make new religions
so
of
we have
the same
to make new
religion.
religions. Yes.
Just so that we
Dragon
could make
Dominion
the
form.
Janissaries work.
Yeah. Oh, God. Well, you never know. The Paradox might actually fix it at some point. They have had a recent.
I mean, I
do
think the new religions weren't sort of added haphazardly.
No.
There is Niraket is worshipped, and was so before, like in the lore. It was quite easy to wrap her up into a new religion because she's literally Eliket's mother.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of she's still a really powerful figure in Ketist mythology, and it does make sense that there could be followers of her, and it's not a very stretched concept. However, and Arketism, it's Arket.
He's just a dragon.
He's just a cool dragon. He's one of the few people. I think he might be the only creature to ever have killed a cat.
Yeah.
I would say
the other dragon not do that as well, though.
no. For dragons that have killed Ket, clearly I would count, because in my first Anbennar multiplayer, I played the Phoenix Empire and I killed Keterada, and I like dragons.
Did you kill the cat?
I'm gonna say yes, but
you don't have a mechanic for it.
Didn't matter. We had roleplay chat where I did it. No, but yeah, okay. So that's.
So you RP'd with the cat. So you did some furry RP.
I killed them in the RP. Let's.
It's still
moving on. Next dragon. We need to move on.
Oh god, furry RP. Well, yeah, okay. There's another dragon though, isn't there? The sand demon. Still around, right?
The demon of the Salahad.
Yeah, the demon of the Salahad. I remember him being the sand demon, but yeah, okay.
I mean, I don't know what that guy is doing. Not gonna lie.
I think he's just wandering in the sands, just killing anything that comes in his way for fun. He's being a chill dude.
That doesn't sound chill.
Nah, I mean, to be fair, there's like 5 people in that desert anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So he's probably very hungry then. There's obviously the Balrjin, or Balris, right? Is the name of it.
Balris. Yeah.
I've still yet to give Balrjin a try. But yeah,
it's a fun mission tree.
It's on my list. Honestly, there's so many tags.
How long is your list?
My list is very, very long. I'm not gonna lie. It's getting up there.
I think it's probably more accurate to say that there's a limited number of greater dragons that have names and etc., but there's probably a lot more minor dragons.
There's not that many minor dragons either, I think. Most of the ones that are around are the greater ones because they woke up with the Dragon Wake. There are some ones that did not wake up with the Dragon Wake and have been doing stuff in other situations. There's some I don't know how much I'm allowed to speak about.
And the Amadia dragon, are you talking about there?
No, I mean, listen, Amadia is its own mess. I don't know
True.
if they're gonna have their dragon. I mean, maybe they are.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fairly sure there is a dragon out phase in Nadia.
There's a cool Dame Steer dragon in the
Oh.
Mengi lands.
In where? Where is this?
The Mengi lands in South Sarhal, like
he's
not East Sarhal.
notably the Dame Steer dragon was, from what I remember, a creature called from space by the hags to kill another dragon there.
Wait, hang on. Can I ask?
dope.
Is that what replaced the angel crater? Is that now the Deemster dragon crater?
It is the corpse of the Dame Steer dragon.
That's
Okay.
that's cool.
Yeah.
I like it. So actually, what one thing I wanted to ask about the dragons in Anbennar, do they what kind of lore for dragons do they actually follow? Because I know in D&D, obviously you got your chromatic and your metallic dragons. Various different colors have different skill sets or what have you.
Or characteristics. Yes.
Characteristic, yes.
Or ice cream dragons as well.
I'm not sure I heard of those ones, but sure.
No, they're like they're a fan community creation thing. Don't worry about them. It was a joke.
Yeah. Are Anbennar's dragons following in that same kind of vein?
As far as I know, they are, yes. In the sense that they are, green dragons. To my knowledge, green dragons are supposed to be sort of deceitful fuckers and such.
Yeah.
They're supposed to follow these characteristics. Varlingald is green, but he's not like a chromatic green dragon.
Okay.
He's some sort of mineral, I think.
Emerald. Go with that.
Well, I don't know. It's unclear because, Droshmagog and Varlingald are pretty cut off from the rest of the dragons in the sense that we don't really know what they've been up to.
Right. And are a bunch of dragons in D&D are able to, like, polymorph into humanoids?
I'm pretty sure all the dragons in Anbennar can do that.
Okay.
They can transform into literally anything. They've got that ability, and they're compatible. Don't tell anyone I said this. They're compatible with any species in the land. So,
I mean, that's like Varlingald. I mean, he doesn't have a harem. This is a misconception. Yeah. But they do send him princesses as tribute. So the Droshmatur lords will send their princesses to him as a tribute, and therefore people meme that he has a harem.
Yeah.
So when
he does have a lot of half-dragon children.
When are the Dragonborn getting added to the game?
I mean, I think they exist.
I don't think Dragonborn. I think you can play a half-dragon if you want to play a D&D character. But in terms of the game, the mod, they are never going to be large enough scale to be implemented as like a pop or anything.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dragon Dominion should sort of have content related to it. Because Varlingald will have a lot of children, and they are the children of your literal dragon god.
That's cool.
So they will have political and religious influence, obviously, and you'll have to deal with them.
I like how this interview went all across the world, from the Yin into Buvari, and then I kind of just dragged it onto the dragons. And
but we like dragons.
I love me some dragons. What's your favorite kind of dragon?
But in terms of D&D,
I don't really any.
I don't know. I don't really have a massive concept of dragons in terms of the Anbennar ones. My favorite is one that I don't think I'm allowed to name.
Oh no, I think you're fine. No one's gonna see this anyway. It's fine. In confidence.
Leak things on stream. Nah, I don't think I will.
Fair. No, but yeah. So, is there anything that you would like to shout out or tell people to go and look at, to go and check out? Anything you want to, shout out?
I don't know. People who play, the Bitbucket version of Anbennar, who want to test some Indic mission trees. Brelar needs testing. Not the Republican path, which is the one I made. Pivel's path of becoming the Empire. needs more looking at, because there have been far fewer play testers for that. So it's unclear to me how good the flow of that part is.
Okay.
A random shout out is, I don't know, people should try Haraf, because Haraf got a system.
Oh.
And they have
System.
they have intuitive and interesting tribal gameplay, which is, not sentences, not words that should be strung together in the same sentence generally. But PVL did his best, and I think it turned out really good.
They need to build their tribal buildings, and then they click the decision that gives more tribal land.
Yes.
Okay.
Very cool.
Currently, they can't reform out of it, from what I remember. So it's unfinished, but for the update it will be functional and playable, because obviously if it's not functional for the update, it's not gonna be in.
Yeah.
All right, very cool. All right, well, thank you very much for coming to chat with us. Really appreciate it. And
thank you for giving me the spotlight.
Yeah, good.
And we'll unceremoniously throw you out. All right.
Wonderful.
Yep. See you later, Sorseres.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
There we go. Kicked him back to cast.
And yeah, I maybe that was a little bit too unceremonious, but I do have to actually go myself as well.
Fair enough, honestly. Dragons are pretty awesome.
Yeah, but I have to end my stream now and head off. Yeah, Findeath, thank you very much for co-casting with me. Nice to see you back again.
Yeah, it's nice. It's good to be back, and hopefully I'll fix the whatever was causing me to lag the game and the stream at the same time.
Yeah.
But I'll just tape my modem into the window, and it'll work, I'm sure.
If anyone would like to, and by anyone I mean everybody, should go and check out Findeath as well on Twitch. Throw a link into chat for people. But yeah, I am going to have to head off now, so thank you very much for watching. Findeath, thank you very much for hanging out with me, and I will see you guys all next week.
Yep, see you. Bye, stream.
Toodaloo. Yeah, unfortunately I can't do the final 15 minutes, but yeah, no, I've had a lot of fun today. I hope you guys have as well. And I will see you. I'll see you then. If you have missed any part of the stream, you want to go and see these interviews again, they will all be going up on YouTube over the course of the week. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.